Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Goodest cast. And on this episode, I got Dom Sacco, good friend of mine, part of the Goldstar crew, who's known for very low cars and very low standards. Just kidding. They have really sick cars, good drivers, cool guys. They love to party. Dom's got a lot of stories. I've partied with him. We party on the podcast, and we get to know Dom and his backstory. I mean, I drifted with this dude since like the early teens, 20 teens. I've drifted with this dude for almost 15 years now, and I just got to sit down and learn his story. Definitely stick around for the final bout story where he's rebuilding his Z with his family and driving it from California all the way to Chicago and back. It's a really good story, so I hope you guys enjoy it. Check it out. Dom Sacco. Do you ever just want to retire to a private island? Not like the island that with the kids and shit, you know. Anyway, do you ever want to just like chill on the beach and have a frosty drink or whatever people aspire to do? Well, if you can't do that, I got the next best thing, and that's going to tirestreets.com/goodest and getting yourself a fresh set of tires for every vehicle you own, because that's what keeps them in business. And if they're in business, they're going to keep sponsoring the podcast. And if they keep sponsoring the podcast, then I get to go drifting. So I am biased, but also they make good stuff. So you should go check them out. Link in the description, tirestreets.com/goodest. Discount code Goodest651 for 20% off. The 651s, tried and true. That's what I run. 351s are great. Go get yourself some drift tires. Try something new. And good luck retiring on the beach or whatever your dreams are. Yeah, so we were supposed to do this podcast like 3 years ago.
Yeah, I think when you first started.
Yeah, we're like, let's fucking do it, dude. And then we never did it.
Yeah, you lived in Frisco, lived in Sacramento.
Yeah.
I think still.
And then you moved.
And then you moved.
Yeah. And then.
Now we're even closer to each other.
Yeah, so it works.
And it still took a while.
Like a year.
Yeah. Yeah, you've been here a while.
9 months.
I've been down here 3 years.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
And you've drifted how many times since you moved down here?
Sore subject.
Yeah.
Once? But like, yeah, once.
Damn.
Yeah.
The hard-hitting questions right out of the gate.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Throwing haymakers. Yeah.
I think like, I can't remember where I met you first. Was it Sonoma?
If it wasn't Sonoma, maybe Club Drift. Like early Club Drift.
Yeah. C-Lub Drift.
Yeah, because I didn't go to Sonoma until like the very end of the last season. Or very end of the first season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's when like the whole Goldstar thing kind of wasn't a thing yet, but the crew was there.
Goldstar was a thing already. I just wasn't Goldstar yet. Yeah. That was like around the time I like met them. Yeah. But yeah, us meeting, we were probably just around the same group.
Yeah.
So it was like, oh, I see that guy around.
I remember one of the club drifts, we like tandem really close. It was like the first time I ever chased anybody like that close. And I have that picture saved on my computer. So I was like,
might still have the GoPro clip somewhere.
Yeah. I was like, I did it.
Yeah, that was good. That was really good.
Let's go back before Club Drift and like drifting in general. Like, how did you find it?
Like how far back do you want it? Like motorsports or like cars in general? Like cars in life?
Let's do the whole story, dude.
So my dad's like my whole family's like a big car thing. Like cousins, uncles, like cars are just like kind of part of like what my whole family does. So like I grew up like in the garage with like wrenches, like always watching my dad. And he was always into motorsports. Like he was mostly a car show guy, like would build like really nice examples of cars, but still drove them like as long as, or his personal cars. He would go to like Fremont drag strip, the Alice's run You know, they'd start at like Happy Hound and Los Gatos, go up to Alice's, Highway
Mhm.
9, Skyline, all that. Back before it was like full of cops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That whole area is like treacherous now.
Yeah, he's got some stories.
I bet.
Like, yeah, and pictures. That's really cool. But yeah, because my dad, he ran a side business out of the house that we had in San Jose. And so I was just like some little 3, 4, 5-year-old just running around, popping in there, like, what are you doing? I just see like cool 60s Mustangs and like Camaros and shit in the garage, like all torn apart. So yeah, cars were always part of the life. And then I think it was like 5 years old or something. My dad found a go-kart like in the middle of some field somewhere. I don't know
What?
where. Yeah. He just like seen some like frame sticking out in like shrubbery and like went and like grabbed it and like threw it in the back of his truck and it like needed some welding done. He like threw a Briggs on it. And it's pretty funny. This is probably like one of my earlier memories in just life. And I ran that go-kart into the neighbor's fence. Yeah, it was like a chicken wire fence. But he like had it on turtle mode and I was like driving up the sidewalk in San Jose. And for whatever reason I was like flat out, but like decided I was gonna look over my shoulder and just like slowly steer right into the fence. Yeah, I went from like 10 miles an hour to 0 like real quick. And the frame he just like welded up to like get ready for me. He had to weld again. Yeah.
Was he mad?
I don't know. I think he was like concerned on how to explain it to the neighbors. Because I just like ruined their chicken fire like or chicken wire fence. Yeah. So yeah, that was my like first taste of internal combustion engines connected to wheels. Yeah.
Yeah, just going hard straight into fences.
Yeah, right out the bat, fucked up. That
explains a
Wouldn't be the
lot.
first time. Yeah. So yeah, we had go-karts growing up. Never had a the power wheels. What
Yeah, I
those
always
called?
wanted one of those.
My dad was like, "Those are lazy kid toys." Like,
He's right.
yeah. So we always had like the little like pedal carts. Like, remember those with like the little
Yeah.
handbrake thing?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
My neighbor had one of those.
Yeah. The gearing was so short, so you could never like go fast and like do a skid or anything. So we would just like roll them backwards down the driveway and then hit the e-brake and like do a wheelie. Just like roll over. Yeah.
We would just go down this hill near our house.
Yeah.
That was
It was
pretty
like,
cool.
yeah, whatever. I mean, the driveway when you're like 5 years old is like,
Pretty gnarly.
feels like a hill.
Yeah.
Yeah. Enough to like tip it over. Yeah. Basically figure out what not to do with something.
Mm.
Yeah.
So you've been finding the limit of crashing anything with wheels
It's like,
since you were a
this
kid.
was intended for this use. Let's not do that.
Yeah.
And, yeah. Go the opposite way. But yeah, just growing up under my dad, he was like big car guy. Luckily, not just drag racing. Drag racing is cool, but I think for like that generation's drag racing was like the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, luckily he liked to make cars turn too. He's a big NHRA fan, F1 fan.
Not usually a big overlap.
Yeah, it's usually like one or the other.
Yeah.
Loved circle track too, like Outlaw and all that shit. So yeah, we used to like he would take me to races all the time. You just go to Altamont. Yeah. And then I got older. I think like 13 or 14. He like, no, probably younger than that. I think like 12 or 13. We got like these better go-karts. Still Briggs like 5 horsepower engines or something. Maybe went like 30 miles an hour now. And we used to go to this Home Depot in like Pittsburgh. And there was like these, there was like a meetup. Like these guys would like bring out all their like DIY go-karts and like they made like a course in the parking lot.
All the kids would rip them?
No, it's like full grown adults.
Sick.
Yeah. Yeah, like total illegal shit. Like but the local cops didn't care. They were like keeping
How'd
it
your
clean.
dad find us? Like, it's like,
I don't know. Maybe this is like kind of like into the forums era. Yeah, like early internet.
yeah.
So that's how he found it. But yeah, we used to just like load up his old like 59 Chevy with the go-kart and like shit and just go out there at night and like rip the go-kart. And we shared one. Like he would set it up. He like engineered this like pedal thing because I was like 12 years old. So you like take the pedal extenders off and like go rip it, and then you like put them back on. He's like, all right, your turn. And it was a cool setup go-kart, but I was like always slow in the turns. And like somebody, I don't know, one of his friends was like, oh yeah, like, you know, he's going flat out, but he just slows down too much for the turns. And so my dad got another go-kart, like set it up identical. He's like, oh, whatever I do, your go-kart will do. Like, just stay on me. So like he led. I did the same thing. And I was like, oh yeah, these do like go a lot faster, like around turns. And then he's like, all right, he's hooked. And like got like a year later, got like an actual like race cart, like a 125. We went to the track, did some practice days. And it's like the following season, he like signed me up for the Stockton like Clubman series. So I think by then I was like 14 or something. And we were like trying to figure out how to like get competitive in racing. I think after a couple seasons, we were like starting to get podiums.
Sick.
Started to do like IKF racing.
I didn't know you did all that.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. Did like actual karting.
Yeah. IKF is like big.
Yeah. I learned that the hard way the first time. Like I thought I was the shit because I was like getting like regular podiums like in the Stockton club. And then IKF came to the Stockton track and was like, oh, let's do an IKF race. I think I qualified like 17th or something. I was like, oh fuck. Like these guys are fast. But like they were also showing up in like enclosed trailers with like liveries on them.
Yeah.
And we had like this open trailer and like an old 50s like Chevy. That was like our pit setup. Yeah. We're like, oh, there's a lot of money on that side of the pit. Like, yeah.
You're like, this is different.
Yeah. If I remember correctly, I think I did well. I think I qualified 17th and like maybe finished P10, 11.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, for like being 15 or whatever I was. I think my dad was pretty stoked.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did that for a few years. So it's like that was me directly like involved in motorsport, but then like still at home, cars everywhere. Like my dad, he's got his 59 Chevy. What did we have at the time? 82 Camaro. Like so much cool stuff. Like tons of like old V8 like engines just sitting in the garage. Like all the like cool like man cave shit that you see like in movies. Like they set it up purposely. That was just what my dad was living. Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah. So that's like what I grew up around. And then as I got older, it was actually really funny, like on practice days in the go-karts, like before a race day, like we did the setup like that we needed to do, figured out our lap times, figured out what we wanted to do for the weekend. And it's like, all right, well, these tires aren't good race tires anymore because we used them. So we used to just, can't remember what we would spray them down with. I think like brake cleaner or something. Like you'd soak them in like some chemical. Yeah. And then just go out, just the rear tires. And we just try and go like drift the karts.
Sick.
But like I didn't really know too much about drifting. We probably just called it like power sliding or something.
It was just fun. Yeah.
Yeah. Just get it loose and go spin out and see what happens. And or you just like mash the brake and then just like go sideways into the turn. Just make it look cool. They didn't know what the fuck.
Yeah, because they're rear brake and they're like solid rear axle, so it's like locked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
your foot brake is like an e-brake pretty much.
Yeah. If you hit it hard enough. Yeah. It's like it wasn't even my idea either. Like it was my dad and like the track owner's idea. Like, oh yeah, we just do this for fun. Like when we're throwing out old tires and just like put them on,
burn them off.
Yeah, zero grip in the rear. It's like on ice. It's like, oh yeah. So yeah, I didn't know too much about drifting because like I was still pretty young when like movies like Tokyo Drift and stuff were coming out. So like I would see that. you would kind of see it in some like video games and stuff. Like there's
Yeah.
like exposure starting to come out in like mainstream stuff, but I still didn't know much about it. Remember when we lived in San Jose, we lived pretty close to Japantown, so my mom would take us there, and like you'd see magazines, you'd see like option DVDs and stuff like that. I think we have a couple from like there. I didn't know anything about it. I think I remember like seeing like a cool S14 or S15 like on a. I think DVDs just started coming out, and it's like, oh, like that's cool. I seen that in my Gran Turismo game, and then so my mom bought it for me, and it's like all in Japanese. It's like, oh, this sucks. Like, what are they saying? So like, that went to the bottom of some box, and I don't know where it is now, and I didn't know what it was at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to
Now
have
that
that now.
magazine's worth like $50.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, it was kind of drifting was kind of like always there, but I didn't pay much attention to it because I didn't know what it was. So at the time, I was just like, oh, just make cars go fast or go karts at the time. Yeah. So yeah, like did racing for a while throughout high school, and then dropped that, and kind of just didn't do anything like car wise for a while until I bought my Z.
Was that because of the band?
Yeah, it was like I got to this weird like crossroad in high school where I was like racing season. I was playing music with my friends, playing like multiple bands. So it's like a weekend for me, like my junior year, I was like 16 years old, would be like finish school on a Friday, uh, get the go kart like set up ready, like all night, wake up at like 5 in the morning, go to the racetrack, race, hopefully get out there like 3 p.m., head back home, unload all the go kart stuff, load up my drum kit, and then go to like some venue in the Bay Area, play a show, get home hopefully at like 12, 1 a.m., and then do homework on Sunday.
Damn.
And then go, yeah. So it's like, it was a lot to the point where at my senior year, I actually like went on like a home studies program for like a GED. Like I was failing high school bad. So I was like, I want to race go-karts and play music, and that's it. So like I got really off course in high school. They're like, oh yeah, if you want your GED, you have to like do this homeschooling thing, or like independent studies they called it. So it's like
I'm
a hybrid
familiar.
schedule. Yeah, it was like a
I've
hybrid
been.
schedule. Yeah, and so I was like, oh cool, like I could still do my GED thing, but the real like highlight for me was like, oh, I'm not at school all these hours now, so now I could do the other shit even more.
Yeah.
Still fucking off on school. Yeah, those packets were barely getting done.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were just getting scratched, and that was it. So it's like, all right, now I could do racing more. Now I could do music more. And both of them just got more and more busy. Like I said, we started doing like the IKF races. My dad was like, oh, how do we start going to Oregon? How do we start going down south? Like, try to budget it. And the band I was in at the time, like we were starting to like play more shows, do like weekend runs down to like LA, like up to Oregon and stuff. Played some Warp Tours and stuff.
Whoa.
Yeah,
I didn't know that either. What
yeah,
the
I was
fuck?
like still in. I think the first time I played Warp Tour, I had to like sign a waiver because I was like underage. Yeah, and I'm still trying to pass high school, which was not going great. Like it started to become too much, and my dad wanted to invest more into the go-karting thing, and I was like, man, like, so it was like crossroad where I was like, oh, I think I have to choose now.
Whoa.
Yeah, so I was like, I got my first taste of Warp Tour. Like we got to play Warp Tour. I'm like, oh, this is like, I went to Warp Tour as a kid. Like this is cool. Like now I'm playing.
You're also a teenager and you care about girls, and girls aren't coming to the
Maybe I did at the time.
can't.
Yeah, definitely not coming to the car track.
No.
Yeah.
They're coming. Yeah, anyway.
Yeah. Definitely not coming to the car track.
No.
But maybe that was part of the deciding factor. I don't know. I don't remember my 17-year-old self too well. But yeah, I like just sat with my dad. I was like, hey, I want to focus on music now. Before he like really invested in like trying to get us like a travel setup for racing. And
how'd that go?
Not well. Yeah. Like, I don't know, man. When you're like a teenager about to get out of like high school, like you only care about yourself. You're not worried about anything else.
Yeah.
It's like I was probably like super selfish about it and was just like, all right, well, that's done. Music now. Like not really worrying about how my dad felt at the time.
It was like time investment and money. And
Yeah, he was putting his all into it and like getting the results he wanted. So like that's why he wanted to take it further. But I was like, well, I'm putting all my time, like all of my other time and effort in the music thing and getting the results I wanted to. So it's like, yeah, I just had to make a choice. It's like either disappoint my friends or disappoint my dad. Good son.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was just like, all right, well, I want to do the music thing. And so like pushed that like super hard from like when I was 17 to like I think 2021. And then yeah, cars was just on the back burner. I think I just drove around like a Saturn SL2.
Oh.
Yeah, that was like my first car.
Oh.
Yeah.
I can't think of like a worse vehicle.
Dude, I can't think of a better vehicle. Like that thing probably had like 180, 190,000 miles on it. My sister had it before I did. And like, you know, like dad's daughter like always has something to prove, like especially when you get into those types of hobbies. Cause like
Yeah.
my sister's same thing. It's like all of us like had a GTO, like knew how to like she taught me how to do burnouts.
Your sister?
My sister taught me how to do burnouts. Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah. So like, yeah, same thing. And it was a 5-speed Saturn. Yeah. So like she used to drive the piss out of that. And then I got it and I
It
was
was just hammered.
fresh out of racing.
Yeah.
Actually, no, when I started driving, I was still racing. So I was like, oh, I got a car on like roads now.
Yeah. You're like,
Let's see what it could do. Yeah. My dad actually made fun of me one time because I like failed my first driving test. Like the weekend after I got like my first
'cause
like
you did a
race win.
burnout.
No, I just fucking sucked at driving a car normally. Yeah. He's like, you just won like your first race. He's like, well, you can't pass your driving test. I'm like, yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that was fun. That car was fun. Saturn knew what they were doing, man. Those things are still on the road, like all over the place from the 90s.
Yeah.
Like they don't die.
I worked on a bunch of them when I did car stereos at Best Buy.
Yeah.
And people would be like, I have a Saturn. And I'd be like, which one? And they'd just be like, I don't know. Like people don't know their own model number because it doesn't say it anywhere on the car.
How many cars did Saturn make? Like 3?
Yeah,
Like
but there's
models?
like SL. There's like a bunch of different random like model numbers. People are like, I don't know, it's a Saturn. Like it's got 4 doors, and you're like, okay.
Yeah.
They're like, are they plastic?
Made of plastic. Yeah. Dual overhead, 1.9 liter. Yeah.
Damn, ready to party.
Yeah. It was like almost like equivalent of like an EM1. Because I remember racing my friends, and like he would only get
What's
me a
an
little
EM1?
bit, like a Civic, like
Oh,
the Civic SI.
yeah. It was the American version.
Yeah, basically, because like I mean, obviously it didn't have like VTEC or anything, but it was lighter because it was plastic. So
Yeah.
yeah, like
No variable valve timing, but plastic doors.
yeah, plastic everything. I remember. I think my dad like. My cousin was like a big Saturn guy. I think my dad picked up some like 17 like Yankees from him. So he put them on the Saturn, put some like P0s on it.
No
like,
way.
Springs, yeah, all that shit.
This is a high performance SL2.
Yeah, we're talking. Yeah. It was fun. And then at the time we were like living out by Stockton, but my dad still worked in Santa Clara. And like everyone knows the road that links you from Livermore to San Jose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've drifted it.
Oh yeah, I've done everything on there. Yeah.
2011.
Yeah. So like my dad showed me that road, and he used to like haul ass in whatever car he had at the time. I don't think it really mattered what car he had. He just knew how to go fast. And so yeah, I had this Saturn. Like, oh, I gotta do Pirelli P0s. Like, let's go to Cal. And like, I remember distinctly one time I think I was visiting him at work, and I was like going back to the house. And I took Cal, just ringing this fucking little Saturn for all it's got. And like, I was coming around a left-hand like outside turn, so you can't see the inside, and like just starting to get like the rear end loose, and a dude like laying knee on a motorcycle comes like the other way. We spook each other, and I like get out of it, but when you get out of it in a front wheel drive car,
It spins.
yeah, I didn't spin luckily, but like fuck, pitched that thing, and like it was one of the no guardrail turns. I like scared myself. Motorcycle guy scared himself, and I was like, all right, I need to
Yeah.
chill this out.
That bike was for sale on Craigslist like that night.
Yeah, who knows?
Probably
But he
not.
was probably just like, what the fuck was a Saturn doing? Like,
Why was it a Saturn with its
like,
ass end out coming
yeah.
around this corner?
And all
Like,
that
who
thing
was
had,
that guy?
all I had was like tires and springs. So you know there was like a foot gap between like the inside front wheel, like fender. Yeah, that thing probably body rolled like crazy. And yeah, still I drove, I want to say I drove it in the ground, but then my little brother ended up getting it too. Yeah, it survived 3 of my father's children, which I think is pretty impressive.
Yeah, shout out Saturn, I guess.
Yeah.
GM made a really good Japanese car.
Yeah, they sure did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was like their whole thing, right? I didn't know Saturn was GM for like a bunch of years.
Yeah, it's just funny like watching those things roll into like Cadillac dealerships for service. Like, oh yeah, here's this like nice Eldorado.
Yeah.
And a Saturn SL2 next to it.
Yeah.
Came from the same factory, maybe. I don't know.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know where they made those things, but
no idea.
Wherever they made them, they fucking did it right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like early roots of learning how to wheel.
Let's talk about the band thing since you chose that over cars.
Damn. Yeah. Another thing I picked up from my dad, he played drums when he was younger. Yeah, he played in like high school band.
So he had to be like pretty proud because you're like doing both of the things that he was like all about.
Like my parents were
debatably
like,
better than him.
Yeah, my parents were like full ride for anything I like put my mind to, which was like I can't thank him enough for that. And so I think that made it easier for him to swallow. It's like I really would have loved to see him like do the go-kart thing. He still says that like today. Like we like watch F1 races and stuff. He's like, man, you should have stayed racing. I'm like, who knows, man? But like I think
it could have been you.
Yeah.
Could have been you, Dom.
I think if I chose music and we stayed like straight garage band spec, he probably would be like, motherfucker. Yeah. So like fucking sold all that shit off for this. But like we like did some cool stuff. Like I said, I got to play like Warped Tour and like other cool music festivals. We put out some like EPs and stuff. So it was like we were like materializing shit. It's like, oh, like mom, dad, look what I came home from the studio. Like, oh look, we have like a CD.
Yeah.
And like merch things, and like they would start like seeing our shirts like around town on people.
That's cool.
Yeah. They're like, oh, that's my son's band and stuff like that. So yeah, like straight out of high school, because I was like our band was starting to pick up like support acts and like small like little weekend run tours and stuff like when I was still in high school. So like taking my homework packets like in the van and like
and not doing them.
Not at all, dude. I'd answer like the first page of questions and it's like, all right, sat down to do sound check and all your friends are there. And it's
I know all about them independent study packets.
Yeah,
dude.
man. That shit was getting done Sunday night at 11 p.m.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes still like in the car on the way to class. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I pushed the band thing hard. Like that was the goal. It's like, you know, like everyone early into drifting is like, oh, I just want to do drifting for a living. I was like, I just want to play music for a living. And I was like in the studio all the time, writing music, trying to do freelance work, like trying to help friends like write stuff for their bands or like go into studios and like help produce and like all kinds of shit. And yeah, it was just kind of like a young, no responsibilities, no overhead type era in my life that I went through. I was like, I don't have anything to worry about. I just like push this super hard. And it was cool. Yeah, got to travel a bit for it. Definitely have made like lifelong friends from it. Like people, I don't really do much music stuff these days, but like I have friends that I like keep in touch with like daily from then or from that time of my life that are like still good friends. So that's the biggest takeaway. But yeah, I was just like, oh, I'm gonna focus on this, and it didn't. It was like a cool wave to ride, and then it like kind of settled down. It was like, all right, this is like starting to flatline a little bit. I remember like after riding that wave, I think I moved back home because I was like kind of like couch hopping and shit. And I was like, oh, like this is slowing down. Moved back to my parents' house. My mom was like, all right, well, if you're gonna be here, like you need to be doing something, go to school or something. And I was like, okay, cool, like I could do that. I remember like signing up for college, like just community college. I was like going to my first class, and my friend called me to like play drums for their band because the drummer like couldn't do one of their tours. And I was like, oh man, like I'm going to class, blah blah blah. He's like, yeah, we're going to Japan. I'm like, fuck, dude. I was like standing outside of the classroom. I was like, do I walk in that classroom right now, or do I go get my kit and go practice and like go to Japan in like a month? I was I was like standing there for like a few minutes, and I was like, yeah, sorry man, I can't do it. Like, and I like went to class.
Damn.
I was like, I still think about that today. I'm like, damn, that was like a big turning point because I signed up for like general ed and then the automotive class at LMC in Pittsburgh, which is like a really good automotive class, which eventually taught me like a lot more of the basics of like working on cars. And I even got like ASE certs from that. So yeah, that's where the car thing like really, really started.
Interesting.
Yeah. As far as like doing it myself, like it wasn't under my dad's wing anymore. So I was like, all right, sign up for these automotive classes. I already had the Z. Yeah, I think I bought the Z like earlier that year or something.
How did that go down? Were you like looking for it, or did it like fall into your lap?
It did actually, yeah, it did fall on my lap because like when I was in high school, it was like time for me to get my license and stuff. And my dad like always has these like cool, like very ambitious ideas for like first cars because he was just always in the car world. So like my oldest sister, her first car was like a 67 Camaro. Like
Sick.
really nice.
Yeah.
Second oldest sister, 66 GTO.
That's
Yeah, they had
crazy
like
first car.
cool shit, really
Yeah.
cool shit. And my dad was like, oh, let's build up this like Ford T bucket that he had. Just always had like the most random shit. And yeah, it just didn't really like go as planned as far as like timing it with me getting my license. I think what was wrong with it was a fiberglass body. It was turfed. And the frame was like stored wrong. So the frame was twisted. He's like, oh, this is more of a project than like we could actually do. And so that like pretty much got thrown away. And I was like getting my license, and I was like, oh, I need to put this kid in a car. And that's where the Saturn came. So yeah, like when I was in high school, I was looking at like 240s, EKs, like all this stuff.
Why Japanese cars? With all
Video
that?
games, Gran Turismo, yeah, Fast and the Furious. Because like what Fast and the Furious came out in like 2001 or 2 or something.
Yeah, I think it's 1.
Yeah, I didn't get my license until like 2005.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're seeing all that stuff like in mainstream media. My dad was actually part of like a Toyota car club at the time, so we were going on like hot import nights.
Oh, that's cool.
My cousins were racing Hondas. Like, yeah, it was just like I said, it ran in the family. Like a lot of the older generation, all hot rods and stuff like that. And then my generation, we were all into like imports, which is kind of, I think, the natural
That's how
progression
it
for like a
goes.
lot of
Yeah.
us. Yeah,
That was like the cool thing at the time.
yeah. So I was seeing what was like cool. And yeah, for whatever reason, like 240s were on the list, but they weren't the main ones. I think I really wanted an EK because of my cousins. They had like Preludes and stuff. And they were still really expensive at the time. 240s, not so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, oh, look at this, blown head gasket single cam. It's $1,200. He's like, oh, you don't want something with a blown head gasket. You're going to have a bunch of other problems. He's like, you're just going to buy it and have to fix it. And so like, I just kind of gave up on like the fun car thing as like a first car and just settled with that Saturn. And then like like I said, I focused on music. So cars were just like whatever to me at the time. And then when I got the Z, I was like, oh, like I never got my fun car. Like I wanted to like get a cool car to like tune up and shit. And I started looking at cars again. Same thing, looking at 240s, looking at EKs. What else was on the list? I think like Mark III, like Golfs.
Whoa.
Yeah, because I thought the Euro thing was like really cool. I didn't really I wasn't shopping for like motorsports in mind. I just like wanted a car to like make
was
cool.
cool, yeah.
And EK was on the top of the list. And I remember checking one out. Or no, I went to go check one out with a B16 in it, like a white one, San Jose. Drove all the way over there from Stockton. And the dude, like as I was checking it out, like changed his mind. He's like, I don't want to sell this. I'm like, what the like,
Yeah.
like, dude, I came over to like ready to buy this thing, and he like, yeah, changed his mind. And I had the ads saved for the Z, and it was in Fremont, so it's like on the way back to Stockton. And so I hit the dude up, and he's like, oh yeah, I got my lunch break, like in a few. He's like, all right, well, I'll just meet you. And I went and checked out the Z, and it was like really clean, like really, really clean. And test drove it and stalled it the first time. Yeah, all that good stuff. And yeah, I ended up buying it because the dude with the EK like backed out. Otherwise, I would have went home with the EK. Yeah,
Drift Dom would have not have existed.
yeah, definitely. Because like, I was like, oh, I got like an FR chassis now, and like, I was driving the absolute piss out of that Saturn. It's like now I have a Z32. I was like, oh, we'll see what this thing can do. I instantly tried to max it out. I was like, well, we go around this turn that I used to fly around in the Saturn and see what the Z does. It's like, oh, it could go faster. Let's see how much faster. And yeah, I learned a couple hard lessons in that too. Yeah. I was like, oh, now I have something that, because like go-karts couldn't spin donuts. It was a tag.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't a shifter cart.
Yeah.
Centrifugal clutch just wouldn't do it. I was like, oh, I've got like a 5-speed like Nissan. Yeah, this will spin donuts. You always get like one revolution that's really good, and you put too much throttle in it, just
loop it out. Yeah.
Like super violent. And I was like, oh wow, that was crazy. Let's do it again. And yeah, for like a while, because that was still like kind of early Facebook. So like car groups weren't really a thing on Facebook.
Yeah.
It was still
forums.
Yeah, it was still forum days. So I was like, oh, Z forums and stuff like that. And then found like Bay Area Z Association forum. And they were like, oh, we're doing this meetup, blah, blah, blah. So I was like one of those, like, you just hang out with the car make and model. Yeah. So I was like doing that for a little bit, like meeting more people, finding people more local to me, going to the weekly like Sonic meets because every town had one. Yeah. And
but like Thursday nights are for Nissan.
yeah, and then you would see every once in a while some like S14 or 13 like parking into the stall and like chirp chirp chirp. I'm like, oh, what the fuck? Like,
what is that?
What is yeah? I was like, oh, that dude does drifting. I'm like, that's pretty cool. Drifting's sick, but like,
no,
I just thought it was
about
cool.
It.
Yeah, I just thought it was cool, and like started doing stuff with the car, like making lowering springs.
Sick.
Just like this simple, like, oh, I'm gonna put this air intake on it, like,
yeah,
the real like early stuff when you don't know what the fuck you're doing. It's like, oh, this is good for 5 horsepower.
Fuck.
Yeah, you go do your first pull from a green light. You're like, yeah, I felt it. Like, you didn't feel shit. Like, yeah, it made no difference. But
it's cold air, dude.
Yeah, cold air intake.
Faster.
Yeah. Yeah, I just did that for a little bit, and like we go to these like weekly meetups, and there's this spot out by Tracy, like in a back road where everyone would go like drag racing after. So yeah, I just did that, like racing GSRs and shit, and old DAs
and a Z32.
Yeah, man, like stuff like that. Like every once in a while, somebody would come out with like an actual like cool car, like a Z06 or some shit. And then all of a sudden, some like random Honda that nobody knew was like sitting there parked the whole time and go race a vet. I'm like, oh, that's fucking sick.
Yeah.
And they're like actually head to head. And
did you beat anyone? VG30
rarely.
NA? Yeah.
Yeah. My friend had a 4-door GSR that we were like really dead even. So that's when like all that little stuff, like that 5 horsepower intake, I'm like, dude, let's try it again now. I got the intake on it. Or like I had like a Jim Wolf like ECU chip. I'm like, yo, let's go, dude. And like now I finally got him by like half a wheel.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, see, it worked. Like, yeah, that shit was funny. But like, yeah, we just go to car meets all the time. Can I beat? Hella Flush. Yeah. Like remember the old like Fremont meets and stuff?
Yep.
Yeah.
I went to 2 of those.
Yeah.
I drove my S13 to one of those.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like you go to all these car meets, Hella Flush, Can I Beat, some of the Word Up stuff, like, and it's like every once in a while you'd see someone who was like deep into drifting. And I'm like, oh, like, there's something about that car, man. Like, yeah. And so it just like would continually catch my eye, and then I started like meeting people who were like into drifting. It's like 2011, maybe early 2012 at this point. I was like, all right, I need to go practice more donuts and stuff, and so I'd go behind my work because it's like a big ass like open area, like where all the trucks like stage and shit.
Where'd you work at the time?
Safeway. I think it was like working graveyards or something, like stocking shelves, stealing Red Bulls, and
statute of limitations over on that one.
Fuck them, man. They owe me. Yeah, I did so much for that company, but
you worked there forever,
dude. I did 11 years at Safeway, not proudly. Yeah, from the bottom like all the way to management. Yeah,
damn.
Yeah, so yeah, I earned those free Red Bulls.
Yeah,
but
and the donuts.
Dude, there was a while I worked in the deli.
Yeah.
We all that shit.
Sick.
Yeah. It's like
we hungry.
Yeah, you would do the shrink reports. It's like, oh, how much was not accounted for? I'm like, oh yeah, the fucking 5 pounds of chicken wings I just ate. Yeah. Like scratch that. Erase that number. It's like I don't know where it went. Yeah. That was fun.
I respect it.
They could afford it.
Yeah,
they got insurance for all that stuff.
They'll be okay.
Yeah. Still from corporations.
This is not advice condoned
for
by
legal reasons.
Cast.
That was a joke.
Yeah.
This
is not we're not financial advisors.
Yeah, I am a crime advisor though. Still from corporations.
I don't think any of our listeners own corporations, so I think we're good.
They can't steal from them.
Yeah. Other ones.
Yeah.
Or their own.
Yeah.
Anyway, whatever. So doing donuts behind Safeway. CoreWorks, baby. Do you want to know what's cool? Well, they do. Do you need help picking out what aero to run or what wheels to get, what offset to run, and actually be able to pull up and feel proud? CoreWorks got you covered, man. They build sick cars. They build fast cars. They build reliable cars. I can't imagine anywhere else I'd want to go. Spend my hard-earned dollar. If you guys like cool stuff, you want cool aero, you guys want cool engine bay dress-up parts, head on over to coreworks.com, see what they got. Give them a call. Tell them I sent you. Pull up in person. And if you're going on the website and you want their cool engine bay dress-up parts and their doodads, anything CoreWorks branded, you get 15% off with code GoodestBoy. That's GOODESTBOI. Okay? Get over there, spend some money, have some fun, make some friends, go drifting. We out. Yeah, donuts behind Safeway.
Yeah.
And the Z32
I was
behind Safeway.
I was starting to get to the points where like I could do a few circles before like looping it out.
I did donuts behind Safeway too.
It's a good spot. Maybe Safeway was designed that way.
I think they're...
There was one like in Antioch that we used to go behind, especially when it was raining. Because like the way the driveway was, it was all uphill. And it would be like a slight left hand to a big like sweeping right hand. It's like, it wasn't fast. It was like top of first gear. But it's still like kind of cool to like practice transitions. Yeah, I would just like practice donuts started to get more loops before spinning out. And like as I went to more and more car meets, I was starting to like meet people who were like actually into drifting. You know, they had the welded diff thing that I didn't have any idea what the fuck that was, why the tires tripped around turns, and they were like explaining to me like, oh yeah, it's for drifting. Like we would just talk it, and then one day they were like invite me out to go like street drifting. I was like, oh, okay, like I would show up all nervous and whatnot. I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna watch. And they're like, oh yeah, hit the turn. I'm like, go ahead a few more times, you know. Yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it. Like, and then just take off. Like never do it because I'm all nervous and shit.
No
and
way.
Like, yeah, just watch. And I'm like, oh man, this is cool. But yeah, I was like scared to wreck my car because it's like my only car. So I was like,
Yeah. That's real.
I was like, this is way crazier. Like, cause we lived out in the middle of nowhere, so we weren't really like going to like big industrial areas. We were like finding these back roads with like one lane, like 90-degree turns. Like, it was actually really easy to like fuck up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I eventually like warmed up to it and would like go spin my shit out, and then like, oh, that was crazy. Let's do it again, and like. And then you get into this like weird psychological thing. It's like, oh, well, they all have welded diffs and I don't have a welded diff. So like I need a welded diff. I was like, oh, that's why I'm spinning out. Not because I fucking suck.
Did the Z come with the LSD? They do, right? They're
viscous,
like,
yeah.
Viscous, yeah.
Yeah. So depending on the health of it.
They work okay.
Yeah. But I would just like go out, go spin out, try it again. Like, all right, we'll just keep doing it. And like I think because of like go-kart racing, it kind of had a good discipline of like repeating the process. Because it's like, you know, when you go go-kart racing and you see like what the delta is for the class and you're like a half second off, you got to go figure out that half second. So you just do it over and over and over. So it's like, oh, I could do this turn, but I can't do the right-hand turn. So just do it over and over and over until you get it right. But I still had that like forum car guy, oh, this is what all these guys are doing mindset. So I need it.
Yeah.
I need those springs. I need that diff, the dumb shit. Or no, I think I had springs, but they were all in coilovers. And I was like, oh shit. Like,
does help.
Yeah.
But it was all throttle control.
Yeah, it helps, but it's not the solution.
Yeah.
But I think I don't know, so many times going like street drifting, spinning out, trying second gear for the first time. Like that was like, oh shit, second gear. Like wow.
Yeah.
And then finally going to watch Sonoma drift because my friends were like, oh, like there's a drift event at Sonoma Raceway. I'm like, oh, that's hella cool. Like I didn't know they do it there. It's like we'd go watch NASCAR and time attack and like all that stuff as a kid. It's like, oh, cool, Sonoma. So I'm going there. I think it's gonna be on the racetrack, but it's just in the skid pad. I still think it's like the coolest thing ever. And I saw that. I was like, oh, I need to get good. Because like even the first season of Sonoma Drift, like there was people out there like ripping. And it's like all the FD pros were like getting their practice in. So you could see that.
Yeah, it was like Matt Field, Calvin Wan.
Yeah, Bell.
Yeah, Ryan Bell.
Yeah.
He like, ripped.
Dude, who else was out there? I don't know, man. That was a while ago.
Yeah.
But I just remember seeing it for the first time, just laying like mountains of smoke. And I was like, oh, dude, like this is crazy. I was like, yeah, I need to get good. We went streeting that night because like I was like, oh, like I need to go practice. And like I had that like that backwards mentality of like I need to go get good at street drifting so I could like be good at the track.
Doesn't work.
Completely backwards, yeah. But I think everybody...
It's two like very different skills.
Yeah. But I feel like a lot of people were that way. Like because
I did the same thing.
Yeah, when you go street drifting, it's just you and your friends. Like, you're used to spinning out in front of each other, but you don't know everybody that's at Sonoma Drift. That was all we had back then. Well, during that time, it was like, there was Thunder Drift too, but I didn't know about Thunder Drift yet.
Yeah.
Altamont was dead.
Yep.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
Word Up, maybe?
I never drove a Word Up event, but I saw videos
stuff.
from them. They always had like really cool media.
Yeah. But yeah, all I knew as far as like sanctioned drift events was Sonoma at the time. So I was like, oh, we need to go drifting every week.
That was like the first one that was accessible, I think.
Yeah.
Like all the
yeah,
other
yeah.
ones, you had to like be on the forums and like know somebody and
Yeah, and they were expensive too.
Yeah,
Sonoma was like
like
$40.
yeah.
Yeah, for like 5 hours of drifting or something. Like,
Yeah. You waited in fucking line forever, but
yeah, some nights, yeah. Especially like the first like several months of the season when
Yeah.
everyone's cars were like nice and fresh. Like everyone went. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like
But
sitting in like a 5-hour like traffic jam and then like getting to drift like 6
one
times.
30-second session.
Yeah.
And then just go
Go
sit
spin
back down.
out.
Yeah, tires are completely cold again. Yeah. But yeah, that was it. I saw Sonoma, practiced a bunch like street drifting. Like we were addicted. We were like hopping fences to like tire shops and like going through like their scrubs and like stealing them.
Sick.
Yeah, like throwing in the
Steal from corporations. Just kidding.
Yeah, well, you can still. What's the saying? One man's trash is another man's treasure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. That's drifting.
Yeah.
Drifting holds that one near and dear.
Yeah, dude. If it was like a set of 225s, like a little bit off the wear bars, I'm like, oh, that's good for like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll get 30 minutes out of that. Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
finding a tire shop that would like stretch back then was like a pain in the ass. And all
No,
that.
I was like drifting on stockies, dude. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't even like do the stretch thing or anything. Yeah,
Mm.
because like my car was still my daily, so it's like
Yeah.
I had a set of like work CR Kais. Those were like my just normal driving, like wheels and tires.
Sick.
Yeah, because like
So you've always been a baller.
they came with the car.
Nice.
Yeah.
Damn, the car came with CR guys.
Mhm. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. It was a good
Okay.
car,
Yeah.
and then it got to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we were just like, it was like such a funny setup to like think about. It was like making coilovers, welded diff. I think I did those before I did a seat and steering wheel.
Awful.
Yeah.
Seat and steering wheel first.
Yeah. Like,
Getting thrown around in the front seat, trying to like learn how to drift.
yeah, because like you
spinning out
don't
and
think
shit.
those
Yeah.
are performance parts, but like you're part of the performance. Like
Yeah.
you gotta put yourself first in a couple like
Yeah.
instances. Yeah.
That's your connection to the machine, you know?
Yeah.
And if you're only halfway plugged into the matrix, dude, it's not it.
Missing a couple patches and stuff.
Yeah.
A couple corrupt files.
Yeah. You're not gonna learn kung fu.
Yeah. So what was I? Yeah, I was going to Sonoma with coilovers, welded diff, eventually seat and steering wheel. And I just remember like it clicking when I finally got the seat and steering wheel.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's insane how
You're not like
much-
holding on to. You don't realize like how much you're holding on to the steering
Dude,
wheel to
well,
not
like-
slide around.
once you like realize you're connected with your car, because again, like a lot of the roots go back to go-kart racing, because that's just a
Yeah.
fiberglass seat
Yeah,
and a
yeah.
solid steering. Like,
You're locked in.
yeah, you feel every pebble on a racetrack. So I was like, oh, I could feel what the car is doing now.
Yeah.
And like the other thing was, it's funny thinking about it. Like when we were setting up a go-kart, I didn't understand like steering geometry, well, they didn't have suspension, but they still had camber, caster, like they had a lot of adjustment. So I was pretty dumb when it came to that stuff. So all I knew was just oversteer, understeer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my dad was like, "What's it doing?" I was like, "Oversteer." But he knew how to adjust all that shit. He would try to explain it to me. I'm like, "What?" It's like, "Oh yeah, when the wheels are straight, on the camber, blah blah blah, and then we got to do a caster sweep." I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about, dude?" Like, just it oversteers, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, then I got into drifting. Finally got the seat and wheel. I was like, "Oh, it pitches a little bit too much," but I didn't know how to fix any of that. But I just knew how to read what the car was doing.
Yeah.
And I was like, "All right, like I'll figure out how to fix that." Looking up tension rods or some dumb shit. I don't know, dude. It was Z32 suspension. It's like, what's a tension rod? What's a tie rod spacer? Like,
Yeah.
where does it go? Does it work with the tension rod? Doesn't even go on it. Like some weird shit.
You didn't
But-
find some like ancient Sylvia article with like. Well, there wasn't like a lot of drift
It
Z32s,
was-
so you were like at a disadvantage in a way.
Yeah, there was no Z32 section on Zilvia except for like maybe Edgar.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there wasn't a section. It was just him popping in on like the drift stuff. What was the other Z? There was like a nationwide Z forum, I think, called Zonk or something. Z owners North. I don't know.
No idea. I never had a Z in my life.
Might be a good
The only
thing.
Z's I catch are going to sleep.
It's a good Z to catch. Yeah, I caught the wrong Z. Yeah. A lot of sleepless nights with that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
I
yeah,
see
just
what
we
you
were
did
like,
there.
what?
I see what you did there.
Oh man, we are dry.
All right. Okay. So
Yeah.
setting up a Z to drift, you were
I didn't know what
Also,
the fuck
you-
I was doing. It was like my first
was
time.
your car slammed immediately once you got the
No.
coilovers, or did you use once you
It slowly went
joined
down.
Goldstar, you're like, okay.
It went lower then. But
Yeah.
I did have a good group of friends like guiding me when I first got into drifting. Cause like they were on Zilvia, NorCal Drift. There was cool stuff then, like
Yeah.
on those forums.
That was definitely
and-
like the low car era too.
Yeah, definitely. Like
You were on Slam Burglars?
Yeah.
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 That's where
Definitely on Slam Burglars.
that's where it all began.
Yeah. And like when we weren't drifting or working on the cars and we just wanted like intake media, it was option. It was like hot version. It was like all the cool Japanese stuff.
That you like secretly had in an earlier life and didn't realize it.
No idea.
Yeah.
Still don't know where that DVD is. Yeah. My mom probably doesn't, like, if I asked her, she's probably like, I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, that was like the media we were taking. I was like, oh, that shit's cool. It's like watching like super old SL videos. And so it was a mix of that and like, as far as anything above grassroots, FD was like the only thing. And like coming from go-kart racing, I was still kind of like in a competitive mindset. So
Interesting.
it's like, I was like, oh, I need to get to that level. Like I had it all planned out. I was like, oh, I'm gonna do Sonoma Drift for like a season and like get good and blah 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 blah. And
Yeah,
then
then
like,
my dad will love me again if I become a race car driver.
Yeah, we'll be like, oh yeah, he's in motorsports, but he's paying for it himself this time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just like, oh, like I need to put a V8 in my car because everyone was putting V8s in their cars at the time.
Shit.
Yeah, like I had that mindset, but then my friends would be like, fuck that shit, dude. Like, nah, slam your shit, this and that. And I was like, oh, okay, like, yeah, this is cool too. So like,
Who were these friends? Do they still drift?
do any of them still drift?
Whoa.
No. The one who like mainly pointed me in the right direction was Travis Hill.
Whoa.
Yeah. He was like the first one to like take me street drifting.
The first night I ever went street drifting, Travis Hill blew through a fence.
I almost blew through a fence one time with him. Yeah.
You're like, oh, it's all coming back. Like
Yeah.
the early go-kart days. Like,
Yeah.
here comes another fence.
But like he was like the epitome of like just go do it. Like did
Yeah.
not care, did not think about the end result. Only yeah.
He had that like 7M GTE turbo Mark III Supra.
Yeah, and that car was also the epitome of just like make it happen.
Yeah, and it was like fast. Like back then we were all like NA. Like,
yeah, because he was like reading on some like weird forums like how to shim the wastegate so it doesn't open as much.
Yeah.
No tune, no nothing. Like maybe a aftermarket like fuel pressure regulator to just up that shit to 420 psi. Like,
yeah, I forgot about that.
He's like,
dude.
oh, just up the fuel trim and or mechanically, and then like shim the wastegate, and it's like making 14 pounds somehow.
I forgot about that, dude.
Yeah, the ECU is probably like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah,
but that car ripped.
Yeah,
and like
freshly torqued head studs and
yeah, he like figured out the formula or the formula.
Worked.
Yeah, that car really worked actually, and like it only had what it needed to drift.
Yeah.
And so he would take me out. I would watch him like rip shit from like top of second gear, which on the street at the time was like, oh, that guy's pretty good.
Yeah.
Like I was like, all right, I'll warm up to that.
Yeah.
And he was just like, hey, we're going out tonight. I'm like, oh, okay. Like I got some spare tires and I would throw them on. We go we go to the industrial area and like Pittsburgh. We'd go to like all these warehouses.
Yeah, Cal's sketchy too. Like as you're learning.
Dude, I almost sent the Z down Cal one time.
Yeah.
Yeah, like went home. Like, yeah, and it was luckily it was like after I figured out like stretching tires and getting fitment like really nice to like slam the car. So I think what saved me was like it just bottomed out on the frame rails and like stopped that way. Like, and I was just like staring down like the inside of a hairpin, no guardrail, just like looking at the trees, just bottomed out. We had to like fucking pull it out, and I like put all my shit in my car and like went home. I was like, yo, I almost died.
There was a night the only night I've ever driven Cal. We like it was Travis Roush and like a bunch of other people. Who else? D-Chen was there. D-Chen.
Good old D-Chen,
Yeah.
dude.
Wild man D-Chen.
Yeah. He's another absolute just send it. Like,
Yeah.
didn't think about the end result.
Yeah. That man has like zero impulse control.
Yeah. I love him for that.
I respect it.
Yeah. I love him for that.
Yeah. He blew off into the trees.
Yeah. Someone's got to do it.
Yeah.
It's not going to be me. Yeah.
Yeah. It was like early low budget crew days.
Yeah.
We like made a video about it. And like I drove Cal in my S13, like still KA. And I was like,
yeah.
This is pretty like, and we drove like the non-sketchy part. We just did like a big kind of sweeper
By
corner.
the cemetery? Like on the Livermore side? Or?
I don't know where we were.
Okay.
Yeah. But like seeing some of the people there who like drove it all the time, like, yeah, like Travis rips.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
I was like, oh shit, that guy's like fast on the.
Yeah, that was the other thing is like, I would only ever know about like people going to Cal because I would never go by myself unless I was like trying to grip it in the daytime.
Yeah.
But like, I only knew about like when people were going out there drifting because of like, usually because of Travis. And like he knew other people going out there. And sometimes there'd be like a lot.
Yeah. That night we went, there was like a generator with like a light.
Yeah.
All kinds of, there was like probably like 40 cars.
Yeah. There was one time
it was like very American, like, I don't know, like Hoppo style. Like everybody was like lined up, like waiting to go.
Yeah, there was
that was pretty crazy.
First time, because like before drifting, we used to like go to these street races out in the middle of nowhere or 7th, and I was like, that's like wild, wild west. People just do whatever the fuck they want. 7th Street was
wild.
Yeah, dude. First time we like legit ran from the cops. It was like, yeah. I just remember like. It was like the Fast and Furious scene. It's like, yo, we got cops. Like, everyone's yeah, dude. Like,
fucking crazy.
Yeah, we're like running like to our cars, jumping in them, and I'm like doing, I don't know, 80, 90 down 7th, and a GTR. Like, they were still pretty new at the time.
Yeah,
like fucking
those things are
flies by us, and then the cops go after him. Yeah, because like. You're familiar with 7th, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So when you go southbound, there's like that one highway on ramp for I think 580 or something. Dude, GTR is gone.
Yeah.
And you can see this cop like struggling to make the turn, and I'm just sitting behind the cop. I'm like,
that car is sitting in the back of performance options.
Yeah, I'm like I'm behind the cop, watching him slow down and give up, and I'm like, is he gonna go for me now? Like, what the fuck do I do? Like,
7th Street in Oakland, for those who don't know, was like the street racing like capital of Northern California.
Yeah, people
or
like
the Bay Area,
betting bands. Like people were coming from like out of state.
Yeah,
for like 7th
It's
Street.
like a very like industrial like shipping.
It's where the Oakland ports are and stuff.
Yeah,
I don't feel too bad about.
They put a bunch of speed bumps and shit.
Yeah, I heard about that. I usually hate talking about like street stuff and the spots, but like 7th is everybody knows 7th.
Yeah.
Everybody knows Cal.
Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of don't feel bad about talking that. Like I see like random IG reels from like people in like Corvettes and shit on like Cal, like 200,000 views and shit. I'm like, that's not how it used to be back in the day. Like I remember like watching people's like sidekicks get slapped out of their hands because they were like trying to film.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, yo, that was like first time I like learned about kind of like etiquette as far as like being with people you didn't know, like street drifting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, oh, this is so sick. I'm just like eyeing everybody's setups, like who are these people, blah, blah, blah. And like some people would go out to like go do a run and back and and you see like a cell phone come out or something like they'd get checked. Like, yo, you cannot
No
film.
phones.
Yeah, you cannot film. Like, these people aren't supposed to be out here. Like, stuff like that. I'm like, oh, like, it's like self-policing community type thing.
Yeah.
It's like, that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like. Now that you mention it, I realized like Cal was very.
I think it was like held sacred for like
Yeah.
Bay Area people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, you had to. It was like treat the spot with respect,
Yeah.
or like just don't come here.
Yeah. Which
Yeah.
is crazy because it like kind of like had its own. It had like. It had like a very similar like hierarchy to like the like Japanese
Yeah.
like toge like culture where it's like don't bring phones, like don't be an idiot.
Yeah, don't film.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, there were certain people out there that would get in massive trouble for it,
Yeah.
for like being out there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like,
There was like a night where they towed like I think like 8 cars or something.
yeah, cars going over. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I remember watching a video with like there was that like okay, so there's that one left-hander, like uphill left-hander, and then everybody would hit it like in both directions.
Oh, yeah.
And like there was a cliff, like there wasn't a cliff, there was like a tree line, and then there was a like 5-foot drop, and like cars would just end up in there. Fuck, what's her name? Oh my god, her car ended up in there. Oh man, I don't know, but that was the thing. People pulling
There's a lot of
fucking
cars down there,
S
yeah.
chassis out with like Suburbans and
Yeah. I hope my friend pulls DA out of there
shit.
with a C10. Yeah. My cousin was like taking it one day, and they were pulling I think like a brand new GTI out. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was like one of the turns where it was like actually really like almost to the reservoir.
Yeah.
Like, they had to like get like this crane truck out. Like, they pulled it up like 100 feet or something, he said.
Oh my god.
But like the owner got lucky. Like, somehow it just stayed on the wheels and just like went straight down the hill. Didn't roll or anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, the car might have been even salvageable. But yeah, I just remember, I think my cousin was coming over for like some family like holiday thing or something. He's like, oh, I'm gonna take Cal on the way. And then he's like, yeah, I've been stuck here for like 2 hours now. Yeah, and if you're fast, it only takes you like 20 minutes to get over that road. Like, yeah. Yeah. But yeah, Cal's funny. It's funny like sharing all the stories with all our friends,
Yeah.
and then also sharing the stories with my dad.
Because he drives it.
He drives it.
Yeah.
He used to like set up a dash cam because that was like the only way to like properly time it and like figure out where you go faster. Yeah.
Sick.
So it's like, I don't know if you remember from like the San Jose side, once it switches to Alameda County.
I don't know.
Can't remember the counties, but right when the county line switches, the asphalt changes. So that was his like starting line. And then he would time from the starting line to the cemetery on the Livermore side. And like, yeah, he just
work on his time.
Yeah, because he worked in Santa Clara. So like
Oh,
whenever
that was
an
his
accident,
commute.
whenever an accident would happen on like the 680 or something or the 580, he's like, oh, I guess I'm taking Cal. Turn his camera on, fucking pin that shit right at the county line. And then when there's that big long sweeping left hand where the cemetery is, and that would be his like finish line. He was doing it in like 18 minutes or something like that.
Sick.
Yeah. So you're like, tell me it's times. And I'm like, and I'd go do it in my old Saturn or try to. Yeah. I'm like, fuck, this guy's
Did you beat him or
fast.
no?
No, fuck no. Yeah, he did that shit like every week. Yeah. Yeah. I tried to do it in the Z. There was one time we drove it together, actually. That was fun.
That's cool.
Yeah, that was actually really fun.
The fucking Bunta Takumi moment, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. It was funny. He decided to get like an economy car, and he got a Silent XB. But the bug still, caught him. So next thing you know, it's like slammed, sway bars, like all kinds of shit. And they're slow as hell. But those things have like oddly like really low center of gravity.
Interesting.
Yeah, they could turn really flat if you set them up correctly.
Huh.
Yeah. So he was just like, I mean, it's just a Scion XB, but he still was like, oh, you can max out anything.
Yeah.
So,
So he did.
yeah, absolutely. It's just funny to just like watch this thing rip. But he's got videos, and you could tell it's a Scion XB dash, and he's on the back.
Center fucking
Yeah, that big ass thing. Yeah, big ass tachometer, whatever it was, speedometer. And he's like on the back of some like Yamaha 600 or something. Like a newer rider, but still it's just funny to like
he's like
see
chasing down a bike in a
down
Scion
bike.
XB.
Yeah.
How mad would you be if you're like feeling real confident about like you're
you're
I'm
trying
pretty good
for
on this
like
bike and
a
there's a
solid mile to like lose a Scion.
there's a
and then
fucking
you're like,
lunchbox running you down,
you're
dude.
like, all right, I guess I'll give him the point by. Like, yeah. Swallow your pride.
Yeah.
And it's like some 50-year-old man in it too.
That's gotta hurt your ego big time.
Probably.
That bike was for sale on Craigslist.
He probably got a leader bike after that.
Yeah. Seriously, I need 1,000 cc's.
Yeah,
Fucking Scion XB.
Yeah, dad would embarrass some people. There was one time coming back from like a family Thanksgiving thing in the Bay. We had the whole family in the GTO. And you familiar with Vasco Road?
Mm-mm. Also, how big is the family?
Actually, it wasn't even the whole family. The family's bigger than what a GTO could hold.
Yeah.
But it was
so
my parents in the front, and then me, my brother, and sister in the back.
The one that taught you how to do burnouts, or the other one?
Yeah,
okay, cool.
One that taught me how to do burnouts. And it's like a 9/11 or something, like starting to weed traffic because Vasco gets like backed up on holidays.
Mm.
And so like it finally would open up, and I was like, this GT had like a pretty healthy like 350 in it. So like we hit it straight away.
Yeah, brother.
Yeah. We hit it straight away, and like my dad's just riding this dude's ass in a 911, and then he'd like take off in the turns, and then we'd like catch back up in the straights, and like finally get to the other side, and like pull up to the side of him, and his eyes light up because there's like 3 like
kids
in the back. Like,
it's like them carbs were fucking tuned
like,
just right, brother.
Just giving us thumbs up and shit like that. Like, just
that's
cool,
sick.
Cool childhood car memories.
Yeah, that's sick.
Yeah, dad was maxing out life.
Yeah, that's a good role model.
Yeah, I think I'm following in his footsteps decently.
Yeah. I saw you enter fucking Thunderhill East in the Z at like 130, like stock VG30.
Yeah.
Like a savage.
Not quite that fast, but yeah, I think that's what you guys were doing. I was ringing that thing for all it's got, but it was still triple digits. That was like the one goal. I was like, I'd come down the straight.
I was on the fence. It looked fast.
Everything like 100 plus is fast. But I just remember like ringing the gears all the way to red line, and I'm just staring at my like speedometer, and I see it hit 100, and I'm like, that's all I care about. Yeah, it's like anything past this, I'm like, whatever,
1,
dude.
2, 3.
Yeah,
I did it.
Yeah, so like anything past this, like, all right, it's just time to do the turn.
Yeah,
yeah, that shit's fun.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about. You were learning the drift. You wanted to go pro. Travis Hill talked you out of it.
Yeah, he's just like, yo, just drift.
Yeah.
He's like, just make your car cool, just drift. So yeah, we started going to like Sonoma together. It was now like the second season. I'm like getting a hang of this shit. Like
we had to have met there because that's like when I started going hard.
Yeah, super likely.
Yeah, second season of Sonoma. I think it was like 2009.
I think you still had like the primer overs or something.
Definitely.
Yeah, because I fondly remember that.
Yeah.
And the sticker bomb trunk.
The sticker bomb trunk. Yeah.
Signature, man. Yeah, it's like
definitely sticker bomb trunk.
Because we'd all like, it was when we were able to still like park our pits like at the top of the hill.
Yeah.
And like, dude, that's one thing I really miss was like
hanging out in the pits, watching everybody.
Yeah, it's like, you could just see the whole skid pad. You could sit up there, shoot the shit, talk about each other's like setups.
It wasn't too
like
loud.
That. Yeah,
you could watch other people's lines.
Yeah, we're like changing wheels, like, oh, like what did you do on your subframe, this and that, and then like everyone had like drive home tires because like we were young, dude. We did not have toe setups.
No,
everyone street drove to like Sonoma.
I didn't have a toe setup for like 5 years.
I still don't have toe setups.
You do now. You just don't have a trailer.
I don't have a trailer. Yeah. Like 14 years later, or 13, whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
But, like, I just
Well, you
remember
still
like,
drive your car to the track anyway. So.
yeah. Still registered, still insured. It's not registered. I didn't smock it, but yeah. Anyway. But yeah, it was so cool. Like, yeah. It was so cool, like shooting the shit in the pits, away from all the spectators and all that stuff. It was
Yeah.
like just the drivers. And then like we're leaving out like all our tools, jacks,
Yeah.
like
it was different.
work wheels, like
Yeah.
SSRs, just
Yeah.
out in the open. And like we come back and it's still there.
Yeah.
Like
I had no problem with my equips like hanging out.
yeah, there was a while you couldn't do that.
Yeah. Once I got
like certain drift events you couldn't do that.
No, definitely not.
I was just like, yeah, man, that shit was tight. I just like look at these wheels. I'm like, damn.
I got a bunch of stuff stolen at Sonoma.
Yeah,
at one point.
eventually, yeah.
Like I came back to Sonoma, I hadn't driven in a while, and I didn't have like a truck and trailer. I just drove the E36 there, like stock pretty much, and I like took everything out of the car and left it, and I like came back. And, like,
yeah, because that's what we were used to doing.
Yeah,
like jacks were getting stolen. Yeah. People's phones getting stolen.
That was crazy to me.
Yeah, like out of their fucking passenger seats and stuff. Like, yeah, it's like you come back in from a run. The first thing you think about, especially with like a cool tandem run, was like, oh, I need to go high five my friend. Yeah. Otherwise, I will die. Like, yeah. So, like, yeah, your phone's like, it fell off the mount somewhere on the fucking floorboard. Yeah. And like somebody else is like peeking in there. It's like, oh, that's mine now. Yeah. It's like shitty that I got to that way. But, yeah. But yeah, the first like season of Sonoma was sick because like it was still small, tight knit. FD pros were coming to practice, so it was like, oh, there's the base, like there's the example.
I remember the first time being at Sonoma and like Matt Field was there in his S14. Mm-hmm. It was like a stock LS with like a cam. Yeah, and it was the craziest car I'd ever seen in my life.
Absolutely, like destroying tires and all that. Yeah, so it was like cool to like watch some of the dudes like street driving this simple car setups. Like, oh yeah, they're doing good. Like that's cool. And a pro comes out, we're like, oh.
Yeah, like him and Ryan Bell just had like T56 LSs. Yeah. With like a cam. And so they're making like 400 horsepower. Yeah. And it was like straight piped and like the craziest shit I'd ever seen. And you're like, damn.
Yeah. It's like
you can do that? Like, that's fucking crazy.
You're like a year into drifting that's just still pretty new to you. And you're like, whoa.
Like, damn, that guy's a professional drifter.
Yeah. You think he's getting paid to do it. Yeah. No, he's just spending a shitload of money. Yeah, like that season, 2012, right? That was the second season of Sonoma?
I don't know.
Or was it 13? Did it start in 11 or 12?
I think it was 10.
Or
9? I don't know.
But I just remember it was the second season of Sonoma because I caught the very last event of the first one. I was like, oh, this is the sickest thing ever. Yeah. I spent all winter street drifting to try and get better, even though I needed to go to the track to get better at street drifting. I didn't know that at the time.
How'd that work out?
Almost went through a fence. Put a CR car into the curb.
Oh.
Yeah. Remember Sonol? Like the big sweeper one?
Where's that?
We don't need to talk about that.
Yeah, don't worry. Yeah. We don't need to air out the spots. Yeah. No, I don't know that one.
Yeah, because Sonol is such a broad term. Yeah. We can say that. Yeah. But
while you have that open, can you toss me some sort of beverage? I like this is a
the mystery box.
Yeah. Sure. This is a Goldstar official podcast.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know anything about Goldstar, but
Would you like a Rita?
Yeah, I'm too.
Yeah. What do you want? Here's a water now.
Probably some of the worst hangovers I've ever had in my life were from hanging out with Dom and.
So much power.
Some of the worst hangovers I've had was hanging out with myself.
Some of the worst hangovers are... Dude, the Flask Mob night was like iconic.
Oh my god.
You drove the Z to the city. We're gonna fucking just
derail. Let's get off the motorsports thing.
Yeah. You drove the Z to the city. I didn't live in the city at the time.
Yeah.
We were like 20 something.
Yakov. We stayed at his apartment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so there was this thing called Flask Mob where it was just like these dudes who.
It was a very small group of like Frisco photographers
Yeah.
who would like do photo meetup, like walk around things in the city. So you just show up with a camera, show up with a flask in your pocket, and just like walk around and have a good time. Really like wholesome, organic stuff. But everything that's cool will like eventually like boom.
Yeah. And that was the
Flask
one
Mob
that
was
boomed.
a cool, like organic, just good vibes thing.
That one was insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one.
That was the first time I saw Riot Police.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think I had like a Ricoh like KR10 or something, like my first film camera ever. Showed up. Was an idiot with flash. Nobody was using flash. It was just like long exposure and everything. I'm sitting like, oh, my bad. Yeah. And like a flask of JMO in my pocket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did work.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
remember-
Drove the Z through. I forgot what district he lived in, but I do remember like
You lived in
absolutely.
Soma.
Is that?
I have a
yeah.
picture on my Instagram of your car in
Yeah.
Soma from that night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sitting
It was
on
like
its
some
nuts.
crazy
Probably
sunset.
got beach
or
somewhere.
sunrise.
Yeah, I don't
We were
remember.
out till late.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
wild.
That was fun. I just remember we were coming up on like some street vendor, like last in E40 or something, maybe.
There was like probably like 1,000, 2,000 people just walking around. People had like Bluetooth speakers.
Yeah.
Like it was.
As there was somebody was like playing some type of like Bay
Bay
Area
Area.
anthem type shit.
Mhm.
And yeah, we were all like super into it. Took my flask out and immediately just get my collar grabbed. And I turn around, it's a cop. I'm like, fuck, dude. He like snatches the flask out of my hand and he's like, pour it out. Or I think he poured it out for me. I can't remember, but I do remember like he got like JMO on his hands and he just looks at me dead in the eye and just like wipes it on my flannel. And I was just kind of like, whatever, dude. Like, as long as you're not going to ticket me,
Yeah.
like, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm fucked up out of my mind. Like,
I don't
staring at
remember
this
a lot from that
cop.
night. I remember us walking back to where. Fuck. Yeah, whose house did we stay at? You just said. it.
Yakov. Yeah.
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 Holy shit. Yeah. So I remember walking back to his spot and just seeing like Riot Police, and then like the crowd was gone and it was just us, and I was like, we gotta get the fuck out of here. This is crazy.
Yeah, like they probably got like word of some like
I think people were like shooting
big-ass
off like
mob.
fireworks and all kinds of
yeah,
like wild
like this
shit.
is like that weird Tumblr Flickr era where like people would like light steel wool on fire
Yeah.
and like swing it around and like do like second long exposures and yeah. So people were just doing that left and right.
Yeah.
Like that kind of like started to get frowned upon
Yeah.
in the photography community. Like,
Yeah,
yo,
it was-
just stop doing that shit, dude.
Yeah.
There's like 1,000 photos of that. We don't need anymore.
Like it's been done.
Yeah, it's
We
been
can
done
move on.
a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Every corner of the world does it now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like a fucking big drunk group of people walking through the city.
Yeah, it was cool.
You've probably got like those generation family, like old heads that are like, what the fuck is this? Get out of here.
Yeah.
Calling the cops.
Yeah.
And
I
the
remember-
cops seeing how big it is. And then next thing you know, it's like
they gotta get
they got
the
shields and stuff.
They got the shields and the helmets
yeah.
just
They're
in
like-
case, you know.
They're like, yo, shut it down. I'm like, we can shut it down.
Go home. All right.
yeah.
Yeah, I remember watching the
can't.
sunrise.
Yeah.
We were hanging out next to your car. I think I was like laying on the fucking sidewalk,
Yeah, yeah, just
questioning
like
my
sitting.
life decisions.
Yeah, Eric was there.
Yeah, Eric Mack.
I think he had the Cressida.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely ripped it leaving. Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
It was funny. It's like in this like,
He still has. Or oh,
does he sell that car?
I don't know.
I miss that guy.
I just saw him. He came to Laguna.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Hell yeah, that's
he's
sick.
still around.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, just remember like
he rode with me like the first time I ever went street drifting.
awesome.
Yeah,
That's sick.
he was like, he's like, oh, he was like explaining like all the like turns and like where to go and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, he knew.
Yeah.
Definitely knew. Yeah, he was there for like very, very early days.
Yep.
Yeah, I just remember like after the flask mob thing, it's like 5 a.m. He's like, all right, I'm gonna head back home. And like the way those apartments were set up, it was like the highway, whatever. But the highway is like maybe the 101.
It's 280. I know exactly where it is.
Yeah. And it's like really high in the sky. So it's just like solid wall below it.
Mhm.
And then a solid like 5-story brick building.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I'm going to go home. And then all of a sudden you just, wah, bah, bah. It's echoing in this entire district.
Yeah,
And
just
we're
like
just
a
like leaning out
concrete
the
box.
window, like, oh, fuck. Yeah. He's always got to make a good exit.
Yeah, and then I think we went to Sac the next day, and I rode with you in the Z, and it was like your car was
Not a
like
good
on the
time.
ground, and we're both
Yeah.
violently hungover, like scraping the entire way to Sac, which is like a 2-hour drive.
If I remember correctly, that was the time where I took the Megan springs off the coilovers
Mm.
and then put some BC springs that Max had off the Q45.
Mm. And they were stiff
1816
Yeah.
on like a almost
on
1-to-1.
McPherson.
Yeah. No, it wasn't McPherson yet. It's still
Oh,
double
okay,
wishbone.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah, just hung over on the 80, laying frame. It hurt.
Yeah,
Yeah. Our
Yeah.
dad's hurt. Yeah.
yeah. My back will never be the same.
It's just impressive the fact that you sat in a 2-seater Z32.
Yeah, it's not comfortable.
What's up, Woody? This is our PA.
Mhm.
Our beer grabber.
Your breath smells like fish, dude.
Hey, Loki. Go.
Yeah.
Get out.
I think we kind of like skipped the Goldstar part. Or
Yeah, we'll go back to
intro. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cerveza?
See?
He loves beer. Watch out.
No mames, way.
This fool's drunk as hell.
Crazy fool.
Lay down. Down.
Yeah, get comfy.
Down. I'm a big boy.
It's like where?
This is a small room.
There you go.
Nice.
They'll probably just roll into it with the how did Goldstar start.
Yeah.
Yeah, cut in.
Let's fucking that was a long detour.
I love detours.
Yeah. Tangent.
Yeah.
All right, Goldstar.
How did I meet Goldstar?
Yeah. I'm like, how'd that go down?
Like I mentioned earlier, went out streeting one time. Had a good ass time. Like I was like super stoked on all the runs I was doing. And we like packed up and I was gonna get back on the highway. Well, getting back on the highway, it's like, oh, let's hit this turn, like on the highway, and just overshot it. Completely overshot it. Ran my fucking CR Kai right into the curb. Instantly lost air, like all that, like
Oh.
done. Yeah, done. And like I still had the spare, like the factory spare in the back of the Z, but it was so old that there was no air in it. Or no, the way the Z32 is it's deflated and then it comes with a factory canister of pressurized air, enough to like inflate it. But it's a 1991 car. There's no air in that thing. Like, yeah, that's just gone. And so we took the spare out. Travis ran it to the fucking nearest gas station and aired it up and then brought it back to me. It's like a front wheel, luckily.
Mm-hmm.
And I drove home like on a spare donut on
Yeah.
the front.
Fully tilted.
Yeah, super like fucked up. Welded diff at the time, so it was like super sketchy to drive back. But luckily, we weren't too far from my parents' house. And yeah, so now I had a broken CR Kai, and I'm like looking. Where did I find it? Maybe we're on Facebook now. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're on Facebook in like a Sonoma group or NorCal Drift group or something like that. And I'm like, all right, CR Kai. Oh, 18-inch CR Kai, blah, 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 for sale. Like super cheap in Sacramento. I'm like, oh, who's this Angel dude? Like, you know, I hit him up. I'm like, hey, like, that's his exact specs I have. And they're white. Like, yeah, I'll come by it like whenever you're available. So I jet up to Sacramento, meet Angel. He sells me the wheels. They're at Max's house. Like the one like off Arena.
Yeah.
Yeah, that house. And it was funny because like I just like shot the shit with Angel for a little bit, just talking about like cars and stuff. And like I remember Max like coming out. I think the Q45 was in the garage. Like, oh, that thing's like pretty sick. And there's like the Miata. And like he just like comes out, sees like Angel selling wheels, and just goes right back in. Like nobody says hi or anything. Like maybe Russ was there too. I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, I just grab the wheels and I go home. And then we're going to Sonoma again, like second or third season. I can't really remember. And I see Angel. I'm like, oh, what's up? Like talking to him. He's like shooting like photos of us all drifting and stuff. Max is driving too. And so now I'm just like seeing them around at events. It's like, oh, like, yeah, that's the dude I bought the wheels from. So like, I think I had an Instagram finally now. So like we're following each other and I see them like hashtagging like GLDSTR. I'm like, oh, that's cool. They got like a car crew and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. And then we went to a Stockton 99 event. Did Thunder Drift do? No, it wasn't Thunder Drift. What was
Someone
it was
else.
Pro-Am.
Yeah.
Because I remember we went to go like watch Alvin drive.
Yeah, they did have a Pro-Am at
Yeah.
fucking Stockton 99.
Yeah.
They did a bunch of them there.
Yeah, so it was a Pro-Am. I remember I was like, oh, it's like, it's in Stockton. It's like backyard. So I was like, oh, I'm going to go watch this stuff. Walking through the stands, see Angel again. I'm like, yo, what's up? And so I just sit with them. And that's, I think, when I like finally like get introduced to like Aaron, Max, like all the other guys. And so like now we know them all on like name basis. And we're all like following each other on IG and stuff. And Max's house was like the hangout house. There's like one time they were like barbecuing or something. Like, yeah, pull up. So like me, Travis, our friend Shamrock went. Yeah,
I forgot about that dude too.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. So we just like go out there, hang out. And then that was just kind of like we were like on a friend basis at that point. I just kept going to Sacramento, like kick it. And
yeah, Max's house was the hangout spot.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, it was definitely. And so we're just like seeing each other at Sonoma, seeing each other at other events. Now I'm driving up to Sacramento, like hanging out with them regularly. And yeah, we're just like becoming friends. And what was that one Sonoma World Time Attack event? It's like probably like 2012 or 13 or something.
I don't know.
But I remember like Mark was in charge of like the car show for like a World Time Attack challenge at Sonoma.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes.
It was like a big slam burgers day for us.
I met up with everybody.
Maybe that's where we first met.
No, we definitely knew each other before.
Okay, maybe it was at Sonoma.
Because like I knew Joe like before that. Because I remember pulling up and he's like, dude, you keep those clips clean.
What was the 4-door car club? Something Dragon?
Oh my God, dude.
Like Corbin and all that. And Eric too, right? Like before Low Budget
he was
Crew.
in it. No, he wasn't in it.
Okay.
It was
something
just
Dragon, right?
Corbin and Johnny.
Was that? I thought no, you wouldn't have.
I introduced Corbin and Johnny to Max and Angel.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was at the very first Summer Jam, which Julian Jacobs won in Owl's S13.
Because like Angel, Max, Russ, and Aaron all met at because they all had Miatas at the time.
Yeah.
I think it was like a Slam Burglars meetup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's how Corbin and Johnny got in the mix.
Yeah. Dude, the inception of Goldstar is like an entire thing itself.
Yeah.
We
had this huge, massive party. That's the party that I was talking about where I met Matt Field was like
the party, yeah.
Me and my friend Galen, which were like, we pretty much like ran Low Budget Crew.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember Galen. Did he have the Miata already?
Yeah, that's how I met all the Goldstar.
Oh, that makes sense.
That's how I met all the like slam. That's how I got on Slam Burglars because of Galen.
Yeah.
And he's like, you gotta get on this forum. It's so sick. And then I got on it and they saw my sticker bomb trunk and fucking roasted me.
Destroyed you.
Yeah, dude.
For sure, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, we threw like a crazy party at the Sonoma Drift Summer Jam. Me and Galen pulled up with Galen's truck, or was his dad's? He borrowed his dad's truck. We brought probably like, I don't know, like 200 beers
Not
a
enough.
couch, a rug, a table, a tube TV, a generator, and an Xbox with Forza. And that's all we brought. We didn't bring like tents or anything.
Dude, enough like beers and JMO, you can sleep wherever you want.
Yeah. I woke up in my
Unwritten
S13
law.
with my
Yeah.
fucking shoelaces tied together.
Who
That
did
was a
it?
crazy
Did you ever find
night.
out who did it?
Yeah, some one of my friends like hooked up with my girlfriend at the time, sister, in his like
I'm
back of
glad
his
you
truck.
added sister
It was
at the
wild,
end of that.
dude. It was
I
a
like, where's
wild
this
night.
going?
There was people, dude. That was like this. That was like the event where they're like, we have to get security if there's a camp out, because like people were like driving on the track and shit at night. It was fucking crazy. But yeah, me and Galen both were playing the Wizard Staff game, which if you're unfamiliar,
Oh yeah, you don't have to tell me.
you like
Yeah. Yeah.
will add a beer as you finish them.
Dude, have you
with
have
duct
you
tape?
met me?
Yeah, I know. Well, I'm explaining it to everybody else.
Yeah,
But there's
true.
like a video of me and I think it's like I think Max filmed it, but it's me and Galen hitting each other with our wizard staffs
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
that event. I need that video, dude. Oh my god, I forgot about that until right now. But yeah, Johnny and Corbin were hanging out with us,
Yeah, I forgot.
and Galen knew Max and Angel from
Miatas,
Slam Burglars
yeah.
and Miatas, and so
Yeah.
like that's how that whole thing started. That's how
Yeah.
they started hanging out.
Yeah, so that was like a year, maybe two before I had met them. Probably just a year. And I remember just hanging around, going to drift events together. And so it was a point to where like I show up to a drift event and they're there. Like I'm gonna go pit with them and we're all gonna like
Yeah.
hang out. And then we did that Hella Flush World Time Attack thing at
It was
Sonoma.
like it was like a Hella Flush car show,
It was a Hella Flush car show.
but they liked having drift cars there. I brought my car, made it on.
I think it was just a car show because like it wasn't like, oh, you know,
But they
Goldstar
let
gonna
us
show. It was a
do-
Slam Brothers thing for us.
Yeah. They let
And
me
so-
in. Mike Garrett shot my car and I made it on Speed Hunters. from
Didn't
that.
you win like best drift missile or something at
Yeah.
that shit? Yeah. And
Yeah.
the title was just, we were like, ah.
yeah. I mean, my shit was very missile spec at the time, but I had the Equipo 5s.
Yeah, the Equipo 5s, you had the overs. Overs
Yeah.
were like kind of a big step back then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you still have the sticker bomb trunk?
That's
probably what got you the title, if it
Oh,
was.
how you gonna do me like that? I might have. I can't remember when I got rid of the trunk.
The timeline doesn't matter.
Yeah,
It's,
I was
it's
Sylvia.
somewhere.
I was Sylvia
Yeah.
front by then.
True.
I was SR by then.
Yeah, that's right. That's
Yep.
right.
I was caged.
Yeah, because I remember you were the only
Half
Slam
cage.
Burglars guy that actually got an award, and it was like the worst one you could have gotten.
Yeah.
the
That's-
one you don't want.
Honestly, that's like big facts. Yeah.
Yeah, but I just remember like showing up that morning near like Max's parents' house. There's like that one turnout light that we used for like a parking lot to like roll in together. We're like, oh, Slam Burglars needs to like roll in deep. And we did
Mhm.
like 15 cars or some shit like that.
Yeah. I was there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was in Black Point.
Yeah, and remember pulling in, we're like shooting the shit, like having our, it's like 7 a.m. or something, like having our coffees and stuff. And then Angel walks up to me. He's like, "Hey, this is for you." And it's like this rolled up like thing. I unroll it, and it's a Goldstar window banner. I'm like,
Ah.
cool, dude. Like this, because like I thought it was the coolest thing that they had like a car club that was like to a script. You
Yeah.
know, like all had like cool slammed cars and shit. And
I mean, like, dude, Russ's Miata is still to this day the coolest Miata on the planet.
I think that car show was when he finally like put the overs on.
Dude,
And like got the Meisters.
PS
and,
Deuce.
Like, yeah, Deuce.
like, just-
slammed on the ground. Yeah.
Like there's no one has ever done a cooler Miata to this day.
Yeah, that thing's pretty timeless.
Yeah, Russ, like,
The coolest thing is
He-
it doesn't look any different.
yeah,
It's still the same.
yeah.
Yeah, it hasn't changed. Like 12 years later, something. Yeah.
It's the coolest Miata I've ever seen, and nothing has ever beat it to this
Yeah.
day.
Yeah,
Like
I think
everybody
so.
else is just like, all right, well, time to pack it up, get a different chassis.
Yeah. But yeah, I just remember like they were like, "Oh, this is for you, Goldstar banner." I'm like, "Oh, sick." And so I think they stayed at like Max's parents' house or something the night before, so they were like probably still drunk.
Yeah,
And we're like, oh, let's put this banner on the car, blah, blah, because we all have Goldstar banners. And dude, me and Angel were like repositioning that thing for like 10 minutes. And I think it was like Galen and like Russ. Like, I don't know, but there's like a bunch of people standing at the front of my car, like, oh, left, right side down. Yeah. Stick it. Yeah, stick it. And we fucking do the transfer tape, pull it off. All stand back. We're like, yeah, that shit's mad crooked. Like, dude, it took us so long to set it up just to get it like very noticeably wrong. And it's still on the car. Like, yeah, like that shit's probably part of the windshield now at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And at the time, you were just like slammed, no arrow.
It was simple. Like, I didn't really like much of like what was on the market for the Z32.
Yeah.
It's like,
And you're 2+2.
no, 0, 2+0,
2
two
plus
seater.
0.
Yeah, only two
Yeah.
seats in there.
And so there's not like a lot of arrow options for the.
Yeah, even
2-0.
less, even
Yeah,
less.
yeah,
So like, what I'm seeing as far as cool stuff, like, remember like 2011, 12, everyone and their mother showed up to the track with D-Max. Every S chassis had a D-Max kit at some point.
I mean, you can't fuck with the fucking
It
goat,
was sick, dude.
Yeah,
It was
D-Max
sick,
is
yeah.
too good.
Yeah, everyone had D-Max. I'm like, oh, that shit's tight.
Yeah.
D-Max Z32. I'm like, nothing shows up. All right. It's like, all right, what
Yeah.
else is out there? We're going through like the Aero thread,
Yeah.
Sylvia,
You're like Bomax, no.
Origin,
Yeah.
like all this shit. I'm like, dude, why does nothing show for Z32? I'm like, why? There's no Aero for this thing.
Yeah.
And I finally come across Stillin, and it's like, it covers up like the rock guard on the bottom, but it's still like the same shape as like the factory
Yeah.
car. I'm like, that looks stupid. Like,
Yeah.
So yeah, my car was just like, I was like, well, I can't get cool Aero for it, so I might as well just like put it on the ground, like absolutely on the ground.
Mm.
That's what I did. I had SSR craze. Yeah, stretched them, took collars out of the coilovers just to get it that little bit like lower.
That's how my 13 was.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
like, oh, now the wheel lip is like on the fender. And I was like, well, that's cool.
Yeah.
You know, like that's as far as I'm gonna get at this
Yeah.
point. So yeah, that was enough for them to be like, oh, this car is slammed. He drifts it, like hangs
Goldstar.
around, gets along with us. We're like, all right, give him a banner.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so yeah, we just kept doing events from there. And like we would go to like some of the Thunder Drift Super Am.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did we battle each other?
No, it was like the practice days or some shit like that. Yeah. I just remember like that was my first introduction to like Jeff.
Yeah.
And it was before the small skid pad even got extended the second time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where Max rolled his shit.
Yeah, it was that. Yeah.
That's
yeah,
skid pad.
Yeah. So
I was there that day.
That
That was a comp day. That was for Super Am.
Yeah. No, we
It's
were.
when they used to put tires along the wall.
Yeah, we were doing the fun days. It was after Max rolled the Miata. Yeah, so we would go to like T Hill events. That was my first time being introduced to T Hill. I was like, oh, this is cool. Doing a bunch of Sonoma events, cruising, just doing Sacramento shit.
Yeah.
Getting food, like
Mhm.
driving these stupid cars all over the place. Yeah, drinking 40s on the couch at the
Yeah.
house. Yeah, and yeah, they like you said, Travis really like set the base for me for like, hey, this is the cool shit, you know, all the option stuff, blah blah blah. But all I saw was like these DVDs, and I was like, how is that accessible? Like, how do you do that?
Mm.
Like Max and Russ and Aaron and Angel, they like, I saw their cars. I'm like, oh wait, they know how to do it.
Yeah.
like-
I dealt with that too.
Yeah, I was like, oh, these dudes have that shit on their car. I'm like, that's cool. And so like, you know, after hanging out with them for like a year, and Russ was like getting super into like bodywork and stuff, and he's like, he knew how to do like fiberglass work, and he's like, oh, you could just like chop shit up and like make it look like this. And I was like, ah, interesting. I think like, I don't remember whose side skirts I like tried on, but it was like S13 side skirts, and I realized the wheelbase was the same as E32.
Mm.
So we just slid right on, but like the body lines are different. I was like, oh, that's a problem. Like, I don't know how to fix that. And then Russ was like, I know how to fix that.
Sick.
Yeah, and so like finally, I got like super made side skirts or something.
Yeah, because that's all you could fit.
Yeah, yeah, because the car was like again honest nuts. We put BN skirts on and it just didn't like.
You couldn't even
It was on the
click them
ground.
into the door.
Yeah, it's just like it wasn't physically possible. So it's like I needed less aggressive ones, and yeah, so I got super made. There's this brand new Z32 company called Twin Z. And they made like a front lip for like the Koki bumper. So I ordered that up. Got a 326 wing.
Mhm.
326 was real hot at that time.
It was.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you didn't have a 326 wing, like
Yeah. Yeah. Everyone had 326 wings at one point. I think it's a funny era, man. I
Yeah.
don't like 326 wings anymore. Whenever
like
I see a 326 wing on a car, I'm like,
you're late. They're still cool.
it's
On the right car, you have to be very specific on
it's
how
a
you pull it
hard
off.
look to pull off now,
Yeah.
I think.
But you also did it right where you like
Yeah,
shaved
chopped
it way the
it.
fuck down. Like
Yeah.
that was the only way it would work on your car.
Yeah, because I remember we set it on the hatch, just like, the way it's supposed to be. And we just looked at it like something's off, man.
Yeah.
Like there's just that was the other thing is like I had a vision, but I didn't know how to like apply it.
Yeah.
But again, like Russ like pointed me in like so many right directions. He's like, we could do some stuff, man. And he helped me a shitload with like setting up the air on that car. And yeah, so we modified the side skirts. He like taught me how to like extend fiberglass and like shape shit. And then we like cut the shit out of that 326 wing and like made it fit on the car like better, like further back and lower. And then we painted it. And I think this was like when first like club drifts just started.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like we did like a couple events and like cars all fucked up. The fenders were all buckled from being hella low. I got like new fenders. Yeah. And then we put the side skirts on, the lip on, the 326 wing on, and, like took it to club drift. I think like Aaron just put or the 17s.
Yeah.
Yeah, he put the 17s on, the big ass wing. Max had the two-tone at this point
Yeah.
with sexy style.
Mm-hmm.
Angel painted the FC like all black.
I remember him getting stuck coming off the trailer.
Yeah, because the exhaust broke.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
That was fun.
there was like a crossbar on the trailer. I think it was like Alvin's trailer, so I can't remember.
Oh, dude, it was like a landscaping trailer, bro.
Yeah.
Like it was way too narrow.
That was the other thing is we had to put wheels on Angel's
I
car
remember.
to get it on the
I was
trailer.
there at that club drift.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got stuck.
Yeah,
Either
like
coming
the way
on
they
or
do
off the
monster
trailer.
trucks.
It's so annoying.
Yeah, the way they do monster
Everybody's-
trucks. It's
yeah.
like, yeah.
But that was wild. He was like the first one I'd seen to have, because he had like wild graphics like on his windows.
Yeah,
He
he
had,
had
like,
like
green
green
tint.
flames. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, damn, that's fucking
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah, that
Angel
shit was
was-
cool. Dude, like,
Angel was like definitely
Let him
ahead of
cook.
his time.
yeah,
Yeah.
let him cook and yeah.
Your
that-
whole
that FC
crew
was
had some
cool.
like very like unique early style shit that's like very popular today.
Mhm.
Yeah. Gotta give Goldstar their fucking credit. Like Goldstar definitely
Yeah, they put me on and pointed me in the right direction.
Yeah.
It eventually like paid off.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, it's like I like how my car looks. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's some people like build cars like, oh, now I kind of want to do this, but like I put my car together and I was like, yo, this shit's sick. dude. Like, yeah. But yeah, we like everyone was like investing into their car like that one year, 2013 or 14, I think, was like the first club drifts in like Stockton.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we all showed up. The other hard part was like Goldstar's kind of big. Like there's a lot of us.
Yeah.
It's like getting that many cars in one spot at one event. It's like that's
Tough.
already a thing.
Dude, there's that like
Yeah.
iconic photo of all you guys
Yeah, all
From
standing on the cars.
at Stockton.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've not done that since.
No, definitely not.
11 years later, essentially, like, we've not done this since. Yeah.
But I mean, like, that's the stuff that like led you guys to driving like the first final bout.
Yeah. So like we were doing like Thunder Drift, Super Am, Sonoma.
Kicks Max's ass at fucking Super Am, bro.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Battle him again.
Yeah.
Uh,
See me, Max.
yeah.
The NAK series is actually probably pretty fast.
I've not driven with it yet. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were like doing these drift events. We had our builds like really well detailed on slam burglars. I think that was like, I think slam burglars was like really the thing, because like it blew up outside of the bay in Santa Barbara.
Yeah.
So like, who was really abundant? Watto. Josh Watto, Bad Luck Watto, Chicago guy.
Really?
Yeah. So like there was several Chicago people on.
Dude, it was
Burglars.
super international.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
Stevie
actually,
Boy,
I still
that
like
JZX like
learn
street
these
drift
days.
dude from like the UK was like big on there. Like,
yeah, I still learn like even today. Like people are like, "Oh yeah, I remember slam burglars."
it was a lot bigger than I think everybody thought.
Yeah, likely. Yeah. So
My
I think
build
that's
thread got fucking flamed nonstop, dude.
because you had an S13, dude.
I had a 13 with a
Yeah.
sticker bomb trunk and
The formula was already written.
bootleg ass wheel, dude. I was yeah.
The formula was already written.
Once
so,
I had
like,
the equips and like started to like figure it out, it was cool. But like the first like 6 pages of my build thread was just Max and Angel and K fucking roasting me. Oh my god! But it was good. It's like you need that. Like I needed that. I didn't know what I was doing wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, if nobody like says anything, you think you're the shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're stoked on it.
Yeah, you're like, dude, my fitment's hard. They're like, you got VAR stones, bro. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, your fitment could have been hard. Swing and a miss, dog. Like, yeah. It's like, I don't care. There's 1 mil between that wheel and the fender. It's a fucking fake wheel.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that forum is how the Chicago guys got wind of us. So yeah, they were cooking up final bout. Just had this idea. Like, all right, U.S. teams, who's over on the West Coast?
Yeah.
We were one of them. You guys were the other ones.
Yeah. Realize?
Nope, not yet. I don't think they were at the first one.
Yeah. Who else was West Coast? Daring Partners.
Yeah, from Washington. Yeah.
For as far as West Coast goes.
Yeah. I don't know. We'd have
Shout
to look
out
at
Danny.
They would have to look at the original map, because they had it all like mapped out of like who was from where.
Yeah. Daring Partners was sick.
Yeah,
West Coast had some cool teams.
Yeah, definitely. But I just remember like, I don't know, maybe we were at Max's house or something, but Aaron had put it in like the group chat, because it was like Aaron's email that they like found, I guess through like the forum or something. And Aaron's like, hey, one of the Risky Devil dudes like hit us up about some event, and he was like sharing the details. We were like, Risky Devil, like, why are they hitting us up? Like,
yeah, because that was like
everyone knew
that was like the coolest street drifting.
Yeah,
like
everyone
Chicago
knew they
street
were.
style.
Yeah,
cool cars. Like that was it.
Yeah, so it's like when I was like first getting into drifting, we were watching option videos, we were watching hot version, and then we were watching like Risky Devil stuff. It's like we thought street drifting was the coolest thing you could do, and they were doing the coolest street drifting.
Yeah, cool cars doing cool street drifting.
Yeah,
was
like that was like the D1SL stuff was like sick.
You're like, that's unobtainable.
Yeah, we couldn't relate to it.
Yeah,
but the Risky Devil stuff we could.
You're like, those are just dudes with cool cars going street drifting.
Oh, look at what they're doing like in this industrial area. And like there's an industrial area that looks just like that down the street.
Yeah.
What's stopping us? Like nothing. Yeah.
Fear. We don't have that.
Yeah. But yeah, they hit us up. Had this like entire pitch that they like emailed all these teams, and they were like, "This is insane. Like, let's do it." Yeah. And so that came to fruition. It was really cool the way they were doing it. Like all the teams that were like, "Yeah, we're in." They're like, "Oh, keep it all on the hush. Blah, blah, blah. We'll all announce it together." But they were mailing people like final bout stickers before it was like announced. So it's like we were doing like Slam Burglars meets and stuff, and like all the Goldstar cars had these like final bout stickers on like their windshields or wherever you wanted to put it. And like a lot of the Slam Burglars people knew who it was already, or knew what it was already, because we were like talking about it. But like other people would like see the final bout stickers, like, "Oh, what's that?" Like, "Oh, it's like a drift event coming up next year." And then it got announced, and like it blew up.
Yeah.
Like immediately blew up. Everyone's like, yo, what the fuck? Like a bunch of teams from like both coasts and Canada and the South are like going to go to like one track event. It's like,
The only people that traveled at that time were like pros.
yeah.
Like,
And for what event? Like ASB?
yeah, I mean, like people,
Yeah.
early ASB.
Yeah.
people
Early
traveled.
ASB was like the only time you were traveling multiple state lines. And then maybe like what like all the Bloodmaster guys were doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like, I don't
English
know.
Town. So it was like English Town and like SoCal were like the only draw for anybody
Yeah.
who was doing non-pro
Yeah.
shit.
And it's
Yeah.
like, dude, if you're coming all the way like over here from like E-Town area or vice versa,
Yeah.
what the fuck? Like, yeah, that was like unheard of. So all these people congregated in the middle of the country to a track that still not many people like knew about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck US Air was.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were just like talking about it. We're like, yo, how do we do that? How do we get all these cars out there? Corbin had just got his Class A license, and he was like, his boss that he was working for at the time had a drag race like trailer set up. So I think he like brought it up to his boss. He's like, hey, there's like this event, blah, blah, blah. He like pitched it. His boss is like, all right, take the trailer.
Damn.
We're like, actually? Like, yeah, his boss was sick. So he's like, so it's like a full semi with like a motorsports trailer, like some shit you would see like FD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
we
it
like
fit all the cars.
Yeah, barely. So like we had to take it to the shop in Sac and do a test fit day. And that's when we learned how long it takes to like load up a 5-car rig.
Yeah.
It was like sun up to sundown, like just a test fit. Yeah. Yeah, that was interesting. And I remember the day we did the test fit was the weekend after the first Thunderhill West event. Like brand new, like the first drift event on Thunderhill West. And I didn't sign up to drift, but I took the Z up there to just like cruise and like hang out with everybody. And something had like fallen off like a demo truck or something. It was like a slab of concrete on the 5. And Max towed. And I was like on his ass behind the trailer. And he like wiggles a little bit. And I just see this like slab of concrete on the highway. And it was just too close to react. I hit it. And like I just hear it bouncing into the car. And all of a sudden my car got louder, like all this shit. And I pull over and like it ripped the exhaust in half. Like, yeah, like fucked up my subframe, like all kinds of shit. And I could see it hit my oil pan. And I'm like looking, I'm like, I got oil pressure. Like, you know, we'll just go to the track. And so we're at Teal now, hot as shit because it's like June or July.
Worst time ever.
Yeah. And I was like, all right, I'm going to go to the shop and go get a bag of ice for the cooler. And I start up the car and the lifters like don't pump up. It's like ticking really bad. And I was like, oh no. I was like, final bouts in like 3 weeks. Yeah. And so Max towed the Z home and I drove his no AC like S13 back. Yeah. And I remember like we were doing the test fit for the trailer and I had no oil pressure. So we're like pushing the Z that's slammed to the ground, bottoming out like on the trailer ramp. Like, yeah, it was to the point.
I know that pain.
Yeah. I think my clutch like safety switch was already bypassed. So what we were doing, because like we couldn't safely run the engine, we were
Use
like
a starter motor.
Yeah, we took the EFI fuse out and just bumped it forward on the ramp with the starter. Yeah, or we're just like
All
fire
that
it up really
electrical
quick
torque,
and like
baby.
move it 5 feet and then just shut it down immediately.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
stupid shit like that. Pulled it onto the trailer, realized everything fit, like put all our tools and like stuff. Like we need to make sure everything goes on, and then like unpacked it. And I spent like all weekend replacing a subframe, oil pickup. And then like the week before we left for final bout, I had to drive it like open header to some like fucking exhaust shop. And I like got these tips, like polished or chrome tips.
Oh, I remember.
Yeah. So like I couldn't order an exhaust for the Z because it just wouldn't have gotten there on time.
Yeah.
So I got these like things from Summit, like these tips from Summit because they're in Reno. Took one day to get there.
Yeah.
Went to the exhaust shop. I was like, make that go to the rear of the car, put these on it.
Yeah.
And the dude was like, yeah, no problem. Straight pipe. Just
It was so bad, bro.
yeah,
It
no
was so
muffler,
bad.
no cat, no resonator. And yeah, we fired it up like out of the exhaust shop. And like the dude who put that shit on was just kind of like, yeah, he's like, dude, what the fuck?
You think straight pipe fucking VQ is bad? Try straight pipe VG30.
Yeah, no X pipe, no nothing,
Oh.
dude. It was.
I remember.
There's a lot of people who probably remember.
I remember.
Like, not fondly.
It was deafening.
Yeah. Yeah. It was not cool.
Didn't scrape on anything though.
Yo, yeah, he tucked it up. Like, I was watching this dude do it. He had like this like straight metal pipe, and he knew the car was low. He knew what he had to do. So he would like mock up and like tack weld the pipes and stuff and like try and fit the hangers. And then he had this like straight pipe and would like hold it up to the frame rails and then push up the pipes and like make the hangers.
Sick.
Yeah. And then he
What
would
a
like
fucking legend,
dude.
dude.
He was sick, man. Yeah. It was like cool. Like I was watching him do it. And then his wife, he would do all like the paperwork in the shop, was like telling us about all their like crazy childhood stories and like Tawana and stuff. And I was like,
No way.
This couple's sick. Dog.
Yeah.
We're coming back for like hella. We used him for like years after that.
Sick.
Yeah. Rally Muffler, Sacramento.
Shout out.
Shout out to them for sure.
Yeah. It would have sounded better if you brought them the right stuff.
Yeah, I don't know what I was doing. I was like, let's make this car louder.
It was so fucking loud.
Yeah, poor choices have been made
Yeah, it's okay.
over the years.
Whatever.
Yeah.
You had to do what you had to do. You had a week.
Yeah. That was the biggest thing. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, this car.
And
has to
now
go in
your
the trailer,
eardrums are weak.
Yeah, tinnitus is
Yeah.
sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's ringing right now. Yeah. But yeah, we loaded up the cars a week later and sent them all out to Chicago. Yeah. Sick video came from that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it like 5,000 miles of fuck or whatever?
Yep. Exactly that.
I remember watching that and being like, damn. Because on our side, Animal Style went, obviously. I had a car.
It was just Ryan, Julian, and her.
They told me
right?
about it.
Yeah.
And I was like, that shit sounds lame.
You only
as
had the M3 already now, right?
No, I had the S13 still.
Oh.
This is like 2003 or 2004.
No.
I was, yeah.
13, 14.
Oh, yeah, 2013, 14.
Yeah, I was 13 in 2003.
Yeah.
We were
okay.
both
Not
were-
20 years ago. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, Ilya and
Impressive.
Simba are that old.
Ambitious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. They could have done
Yeah.
it that long ago. Sorry,
Yeah.
guys. Just kidding.
Yeah. Math,
Simba's not hiring me to MC next year after that comment.
Yeah, this guy. Yeah.
No, like we had that same conversation on our side. And he was like telling me about it. That Julian's like, dude, it's gonna be sick, bro. Like we're gonna
Yeah.
ship our cars out there. And I was like, sounds like a lot of money. I don't know. It just sounds kind of lame. And then I
Lot
fucked
of
up.
money.
I fucked up. I should have went.
It was sick, dude. The first one was just like different. Like,
Yeah, I think that the first one will never be able to be recreated.
Fuel Lab. They're a laboratory for fuel. And let me tell you what, they know that fucking science, baby. They got those beakers out and their freaking lab coats and their goggles and shit. And they're doing science in there to make sure that you have the best fuel system you possibly can. And if you don't go to Fuel Lab and run it up and get yourself some hot pumps with code Goodest, save yourself 15% off. Yeah, that's a big deal. Straight from the distributor, baby. I run them and I appreciate their science. I salute their science and I salute their lab. There's no DDs there, only Dexters, if you know what I'm saying. Fuel Lab, baby, go run it up.
Let's talk about like getting there. Also, go watch 5,000 Miles of Fuck. It's honestly a really sick edit. Is it still on?
it's still, yeah. So some music had to get changed for copyright issues.
Yeah, because it was on like
Yeah.
Vimeo and on like YouTube, and then or just YouTube. I don't know, whatever.
It's on Vimeo for sure.
Yeah.
The original version's not on the internet anymore because of copyright.
Mm-hmm.
But that's like where all the music went to, like
Yeah.
went along to. Yeah, you edit to a certain song. And
Yeah.
so yeah, a little bit of the vibes are lost, but you know, it's all still on there. Yeah, that shit was sick, man. Like Cobra just got his class A, was driving race rigs around for his boss because his boss also ran NHRA, like as a hobby. Sick hobby to have.
Damn, NHRA as a hobby.
As a hobby, yeah. Like they ran 2 rail cars, rear engine. Corbin had a car. Yeah, Corbin was actually NHRA licensed as
Yeah,
well.
wasn't he racing NHRA?
He's a man of many licenses. Yeah,
Corbin's the goat.
yeah. He like
I
drifts
love that
cars,
dude.
drives semis, flies planes.
Oh yeah, he's doing plane stuff.
Yeah, yeah, all that shit. Corbin's sick, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, but because of like what him and his boss Bob had, which we're eternally grateful to that dude. Because
Yeah.
like, I
Without
think
it, you would not have gone.
yeah, we wouldn't have figured it out. Nobody had trailers. Nobody had trucks to like tow trailers with. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, we could not have done it. So Bob like being like, oh yeah, use the race rig. We were like, all right, let's figure this out. You know, treat it with respect and whatnot as best as we could.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
Loading
Once
slam
it goes
cars
on
in
the
a
road-
race trailer.
yeah. Once that shit started going on Highway 80, some shit happened. But so yeah, we're just like, we've got access to this like sick Freightliner. I think it's a Freightliner and like a professional race rig. It's got a bathroom on it. It's got a generator, compressor. Like it was an NHRA competitive like setup.
Sick.
And let's throw these fucking Nissans and Mazdas and shit on it, dude.
You go put my stock NA fucking Z32 on here.
Yeah. And so
To Wisconsin.
yeah, the week before final bout, we're all on vacation now. And we like load this thing up. Again, it takes us all day. It's insane how like long it takes to load up a race rig. I have this experience already because like my cousin used to race NHRA when I was in high school. So I used to help him wrench. And yeah, we used to go to like Famoso, Sonoma, Sac, like all that shit. And that's when I learned how like serious NHRA is.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, time to like spend all day packing up the rig.
My only experience with NHRA was selling seat cushions and earplugs, walking up and down the bleachers.
Did you yell like $5 hella loud?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was the worst job
Can you
I've
still
ever
do
had.
it?
I didn't. No.
You want to try?
You don't have to pay me for that.
$5? I got it in my pocket.
I had like that was probably like one of the most memorable days of my life. Was that
Working NHRA?
working NHRA selling seat cushions and earplugs?
Yeah.
There's nothing more like demoralizing than walking around with your arms spread out, covered in seat cushions, yelling earplugs and seat cushions, and then you get all the way to the bottom of the stairs. Like
And somebody up
the
top wants
you know
one.
the Sonoma grandstands. It's like
Yeah, they're big.
it's like
They're really big.
it's like 5 stories. So you get to the bottom and you see some motherfucker at the goddamn top just go put his hand up and like looking straight at you, and you're just like every fiber of your being wants you to every fiber of your being just wants to just throw the seat cushions off your arms and like what, but you gotta
You
walk
should
your
just walk
fucking
out onto
happy
the
ass up
track
there, dude.
and just lay down.
Yeah. I remember getting like cussed out because like I didn't have enough change. It was like a dude buying earplugs for like 20 people. I don't know. It was just... And then
Drag race
also
people,
you
man.
can't wear earplugs because you gotta like sell stuff. And like anytime the like full blown
At an NHRA race?
nitro cars go, you're just like,
Nah,
Yeah.
fuck them people. I'm wearing earplugs, dude.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
was it Top Fuel? Oh yeah, NHRA
Yeah.
Sonoma. Sonoma's like one of the great tracks for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that shit's not.
That's my only
kind.
experience. I never
Yeah.
like drove.
You
a
got
car.
tinnitus for sure then.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I'm laying in bed,
Did you ever stand near the tree when they would launch?
no, I didn't get to go over there. I was just selling seat cushions and earplugs, dude. I was just a peasant.
I'm gonna rub it in your face, but I was like definitely on the cooler side. Of the
That's
track.
way cooler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Because when my cousin raced, I would sweep the tires,
Mm,
and so
what's that mean?
when they do their burnout and they like back up, they pick up marbles.
Ah,
So you like
interesting,
pick
okay.
gloves on, and you like sweep the tires as they're backing up to make sure it's just like bare, fresh rubber.
Mm,
And so yeah, our pit chief would like back them up and stage them. As soon as they get back behind the lights, You like do one last sweep and then get out of there. And so yeah, you just basically like stand on the tree and like watch them launch.
That's so sick.
It's like a kick in the chest. That shit's stupid. Yeah. But yeah, it's cool. Cool thing to experience. Go work for an NHRI team one day.
Yeah.
Just put your earplugs in.
Yeah.
Otherwise, yeah, you won't do this anymore.
Yeah, I think I got paid $60 for the day.
I got paid in experience.
Yeah.
That was it. Classic. So, yeah, I got you, dude. Exposure.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could pay your rent with that, right? Yeah.
I think about that job often. Like anytime I'm like stressed out about my job, I'm like, at least I'm not selling
Think
seat
about the
cushions,
old
walking
shit
up
you
and
used
down
to
the
do.
stairs at
Yeah.
Sonoma. Yeah.
Old
Anyway.
jobs.
Yeah.
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 Safeway for 11 years. You're savage for that. I came to visit you at Safeway a few times.
Which one? The Sacramento one?
Yep.
Dude, the Sacramento was lit.
Yeah.
Let's derail.
Yeah.
Let's derail.
Story time.
Yeah, so I worked in Midtown. For those who don't know, it's basically downtown Sacramento. Sacramento's a lit city, party city.
Yeah.
A lot of cool shit going on all the time. And it works like a grid system. It's like A through X from north south, 1 through 30th for like west east. And we were dead center on RN 19th. Only 24-hour store in all of like Midtown Sacramento.
Oh, my
And
God.
Midtown's also mixed residential and like, you know, businesses, clubs, bars,
Yeah.
all that. Yeah. So like you live where you're going out. Like you live where you play, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you get all the craziest shit going through that store. Yeah. And then all the like theft. I don't think I'll get in trouble for this. I don't think any like Safeway people are gonna. Do you think Safeway people, like corporate people, watch the podcast?
I don't know. Probably not.
We're gonna find out. But yeah, we had 24-hour security because it's like that kind of area. We had 24-hour theft, daytime, nighttime, all kinds of shit. I worked all different hours of the day. I worked all different types of departments and stuff. And so yeah, just people coming in and stealing was like part of it. Like I said earlier, you know, steal from corporations, whatever. Like, fuck them, dude. They don't care about you. They don't care about that product. And like early on in life, dude, I'm just like, oh yeah, like I work for this company I represent. Let's don't steal from us. It makes our job harder. And I like learned in the long run. I'm like, dude, they don't fucking care about us, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, like whatever. Take that.
Your
sandwich.
$16 an hour is not worth stopping someone trying to.
Yeah, but I used to have that mindset. I'm like, yo, stop stealing. Like, blah, blah, blah. And like, because it was just like a pain in the ass to us. And like, the company overall was like, yo, hands off. But like your managers, like the on floor people would be like, yo, why'd you let them take that shit? Because remember, like,
You're like, do you want to die?
I mean, some people did, man. You know, they were like, whatever. Like, it's like, fight me type shit. Yeah. Like, we had like an OG, like, Sac dude, Oak Park guy, like, born and raised, like, security guard.
Mm-hmm.
And, dude, he would step up to everybody. Like, because he was third party. He wasn't Safeway. He was like a third party security company.
Oh, my God.
So, like, and he was like our main security guy. And he, like, people come in stealing and whatnot, this and that. And you like recognize them and like check them and all that shit. I remember like one time this dude, like, who would like regularly steal from us. It's like, all right, stealing, whatever. But like he would get mad when he get caught. So he'd start just fucking breaking shit. Like if he had like a bottle in his hand, he'd just throw it across like an aisle. Like, just like at that point, like, all right, stealing.
All right,
is out of
lesson
the,
learned. Take your
Yeah.
bottle. Yeah.
At that point, it's like, all right, you steal a bottle that's at the store, like it's not a problem anymore. But
Yeah.
like now
No, I gotta clean it up.
Yeah.
Now I gotta
It
go
was
get the
like-
mop. Fuck you, bro.
Yeah, there was one time I was like coming in for a graveyard shift or something at like 3 a.m, and this dude gets caught stealing, and he like takes this like display that we had of like olive oil and just tips it over. We're
Oh,
like, dude, like what? Our security
Italians
guard,
would
like,
be pissed.
yeah, dude,
Yeah.
yeah, And our security guard chases him out, and our security guard's like mad for us. We're like, dude, olive oil, like it's a slipping hazard, like all this crazy shit. And it's like, remember like walking back out, and I'm like watching my security guard like chase this dude down. It's like away from all these cameras. And the kid had like a backpack on. And our security guard caught up to him, like grabbed the JanSport, just like did the 360 thing. Just like yeeted him into a bush, like super deep into a bush. And I was like, oh my God. And he like comes back. He's like, yo, Dominic. He's like, you didn't see that, right? I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I was like, that was sick, dude. Yeah. It's like, anyways, I'm gonna go clock in. Yeah. Crazy shit like that would always happen. Like, we had another security guy who was like trying to stop somebody from like shoplifting a bottle of Fireball or something like that.
That's how you know your life's going really good.
Yeah, and so he
gotta
grabbed the dude
steal
by like the
Fireball.
hoodie or something, and the dude was like trying to wrestle him, like some like little ass dude. And like I had the keys at the time, and he's like, open up the door. So I unlock like one of the doors that we close at night. Just like open it up. And he like tosses this dude out. And he had already like wrestled the Fireball away from him.
Yeah.
And the guy, as he like throws him out the door, the guy turns around and spits on him. And like then turns around to like walk away.
Oh.
I just look at my security guy. I was like, and he just like full like MLB pitches this bottle of Fireball at the guy, and it made the loudest like ding on the back of his head, like
Oh my God.
concussed the guy, like stumbled
full
him.
on CTE.
Yeah, like
don't spit on
full
people.
like stumbled the guy, like he fell to his knees. Bottle ricochets off his head like into the air and like falls on the ground, breaks. Like nobody got the Fireball at that point. The
Yeah.
ants did. Like
Yeah.
and
Great balls of fire.
bro threw a Fireball at him.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah. Like straight mage status, just like straight to the back of his head. It was sick. Made the coolest noise.
Was it like a batting cage? Like,
Yeah, like a metal bat.
yeah.
Yeah, you ever
Like
hear
the
like a metal bat?
batting cages?
They made that a
Dink.
similar sound on this dude's head. And I was just like, oh my God. I was like, this is my life. Like, I'm getting paid really shitty to like watch all this shit.
You're like, another graveyard shift starting out right.
Yeah. and it's
Midtown
like,
Sacramento.
dude.
Macramento is
Yeah.
a wild
There was
beast.
a meme that I would see my friends post, like, you know, like the GTA filter, like the "aw shit, here we go again."
Mhm.
It'll just be like the front doors to like our town or our street, like Sacco in Midtown. Yeah, that was a good one.
You're a
Yeah.
real one for that. All for drifting, dude.
Yeah, I mean, like,
And to live, but
yeah, I had to pay some rent,
yeah.
pay off some credit cards a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, it got to a point. I think there was like actual like turning point where like I stopped caring about like people stealing. So I remember like working self checkout.
What broke you? Let's
Huh?
start. Let's dive in.
What broke me,
Yeah.
dude? Like, it's heavy, man. Like, there's one time I was working self checkout right by one of the exit doors, and there was this regular that I would see in the store, and like he lived on the streets and stuff, and like he would always try to like buy stuff, and like it was always like a little bit short. It was like an inconvenience to us, like, you know, it's like the inconvenience to us is like so minuscule compared to like anything else. It's like, oh, this dude's 50 cents short, but we're like, we can't do anything about that.
Yeah.
You know? If you know how to like work the computers, you could like discount, just to, get them on their way, get their food, like whatever.
Mm-hmm.
There's like one time that dude just must not have had like any money, and he's like got the sandwich and like some chicken tender, like cold chicken tenders in his hoodie and stuff, and he's like walking, hoping I don't like see him like walk out the door. I like just turn to the left, and he like trips over like a mat or something, like briefly, like minorly trips, and like the sandwich falls out of his hoodie. And I'm just like looking at him. I'm like, come on, man. And he just like looks at me. He's like, I'm so hungry, man. Like, he's like, I'm just so hungry. Like, I can see the tears in his eyes. Like, he's so defeated. He's like, he's so hungry. And I just kind of like look at him. I was like, fuck, dude. And I like see a customer needs help. I just look at the sandwich and I was like, Like I just walked away. Like he like picked it up, walked out.
Yeah.
I like went to go help the customer who like scanned the wrong item or some shit. Like
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, I thought about it for like months after that. I was like, that dude's always in here. Like I recognize him all the time. But it's just the way he looked at me, he's like, dude, he's defeated. He's like, I'm so fucking hungry, man. Like I just want this sandwich. And I was like, okay. Like, yeah, that's fine, man. Just take it. Like I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
And like after that, I was like, dude, there would be people who are like, when I would catch them stealing, they're like, what time are you off? I'm like 8 a.m., dude. Like, pull up. Like, fuck, like all this like stupid shit. Cause like
you have that
everybody
like us
on the
first them mentality.
dude, everybody on the graveyard shift was like with the shits. Like they were all like kind of like hard based, like Sacramento, like they're like, whatever, dude, pull up. Like they didn't care. And like our manager shouldn't have done this, but like she's like, oh, you know, if it's not on camera, like I don't care. Like, yeah,
I
like,
definitely had those experiences when I worked at Circuit City.
Yeah,
I had a fucking manager tell me to
dude.
chase someone down in my car.
Mm-hmm.
I was like pulling up for my shift.
Huge liability thing. Yeah,
massive.
Yeah, but
he's like, hey, you see that fucking car? They just stole a camcorder. Like, go chase them down. I know you like driving, and I'm like,
yeah. Because I was like
doing it to clock in. He's like, yeah. I was like, all right, we out, dude.
Dude, I was doing like
he got on the Richmond Bridge to like Richmond. I was like, I ain't getting shot over fucking no camcorder.
Yeah, like I mean, Sacramento's like a city too. Like you don't know these people's history and shit like that. And, like, I remember I was like kind of working like
how hungry are they? You know, like is it worth?
Yeah, like dude, you're in the comfort of like
getting a fucking stab wound over somebody eating.
Yeah,
like, fuck that.
People who are like they gotta steal fruit like eating, like dude, that's a total different mindset from where you are. Like total opposite ends of like comfort spectrum. Like, you know. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Like they're in a completely different headspace from you. So it's like
they're fighting for their life.
Yeah. Like you get raised like, you know, like, oh, stealing's bad, blah, 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 blah. And like the corporations that you work for are like, oh, like fuck that shit, dude. Steal from corporations. All that shit's a stolen. All that shit's insured. Like, yeah. I didn't learn it until like I started doing receiving, like processing invoices and stuff like that, and like how much like shrink gets accounted for and gets covered. Yeah, I'm like, oh, we got, you know, $5,000 of theft this week, like, and then we're gonna get covered for it. I'm like, so all those people who like got a Fireball bottle thrown at the back of their head, like, we got paid for that shit anyways. Like,
and it costs. Yeah, dude, it costs.
The deeper into it you get, you're just like, oh. Fuck this shit, man. Yeah. Just let him take it. Yeah. Yeah. You're not going to get fired for it.
So now you drive fuel tankers. Are you going to let Dominic Toretto take from Dom?
Yeah. Yeah, actually. Yeah. Yeah, my manager now is like pretty sick.
Yeah, he's like, if someone puts a gun to your head, like,
dude, if they cuss me out, he's like, get out the truck and walk away and call me. Like, dude, it's
don't
do
that though.
Yeah.
You're gonna go to federal prison, which apparently is less bad than regular prison. So
yeah, it's probably a little more invested into.
Yeah, they call it like
counties probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna do a crime, go to federal prison. Don't go to like regular
get a felony.
jail. You know.
Yeah. Misdemeanor.
Yeah, from everything that I've heard, like if you're gonna go in, you know, like go to like criminal summer camp, not criminal.
I mean, I don't know from personal experience, obviously. Friends and family have done
getting a lot of weird looks from Laura right now.
I've definitely got friends and family have done both county and federal side.
Yeah,
I couldn't tell you from what they've said which is better or worse. I guess it depends on the county. Yeah. Neither are cool. Yeah. Yeah, don't do it.
All right, that was a weird detour.
Yeah. If you're gonna steal from corporations, make sure it's less than 1,000. Yeah. Yeah. It's a misdemeanor at that point. They just book you and let you go. Yep. Yeah. Over 1,000 is a felony.
This is not advice that the Goodest cast.
Yeah. For legal reasons, this is just a joke.
This is not recommended.
Yeah. Yeah. But anyways, yeah, if you work for Walmart or Target or Sephora. Sephora probably gets hit crazy hard.
Yeah.
Just let him run.
It's not worth dying. Anyway,
Just let him go.
let's move on. Let's talk about the time that you drove your drift car all the way from California to Chicago.
Yo. Yeah, streetcars forever. Don't quote me on that. I might get old one day. Yeah, man. Found about through this cool event called Gallery, which took away the team aspect, and it was just like car and driver at that point.
Mm.
So at this point, like it's 2019 or 2018 going into 2019, Gallery gets announced. A lot of the guys in Goldstar are like at this weird point in their life where you got to find the balance between like drifting and adulting.
Yeah. Which is very
dude,
relatable for
everyone's-
all of us.
Yeah, everyone's been there or gets there at
Yeah.
some point. It's inevitable. It's not if, it's when. So I think the only two committed at that point is just me and Max.
Yeah.
They were like, yo, let's do Gallery. This is going to be sick. And I don't know if it was over like a couple 40s or something, but we came with the idea of just like, let's drive the cars there. Like if it's two of us, it'll be
Sounds
fun.
like a couple 40s.
Probably
kind
a
of
couple
idea.
40s. Yeah,
absolutely.
On the couch, yeah. And what was he building? He was building the hatch, that purple hatch that he had. And it's going along great, but he's like, there's just these fucking teething issues with the car. Just keep like one problem after the other. And he finally like gets it sorted. I think he like cracked his oil pan test driving it. Because like, remember the streets around the shop are like pretty bad?
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cracks the oil pan or something, fixes that. And then the dude that he like bought that car from had like this KAT setup that had tons of custom shit on it, like custom water neck, like tons of like aluminum welding. And he goes to test drive it like a week before we're supposed to leave, and the like water neck cracks.
Mm.
And like the way the plumbing is all bent for like all the water system was like,
Yeah, it's all custom. Can't replace it in
for-
time. Yeah.
yeah. So he's like, I'm out. I'm like, oh, fuck, dude. I was like, do we like trailer at this point? Because we had a trailer.
Yeah.
And he's like, yo, we had a sketchy trailer that
That trailer was so fucking sketchy.
we all went in on this trailer like years prior to that, like threw in a few $100s each, and like that was the Goldstar trailer. It was some like OG like lead sled guy who just like found some like fucking 5x114 hubs and like welded them onto like the spindles.
Dude, it
It
Yeah.
worked great, but if a wheel bearing went out, that was it. Like, yeah, it was a one-time use type thing.
Yeah.
You just hope that one time lasts a long time, and it
that
did.
trailer was mad sketchy.
Yeah, it got stolen.
I remember that.
Yeah, it got stolen. So that's somebody else's problem. That wheel bearing that will eventually weld itself. Yeah, yeah. So I was like, oh, if it's just me, like, do we just trailer? And then Max explained to me like the situation with the wheel bearings, which I never used, like never knew about because I used that trailer maybe twice. Like
Yeah.
when I broke the car one time.
Like, I'm really happy I put money into this trailer that's one time use.
I got my money's worth.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he's just like the trailer's less reliable than the Z for sure. I was like, all right, say less. So yeah, it was just me at that point. And I'm like at the tail end of like entire refresh. The car was stripped down to a shell, like minus the engine being in it. I think it was it.
Yeah.
There's like no subframe, no
This is the time
suspension.
that your brother came and like helped out. and,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
straighten
Like
out
this
the body.
car was
Yeah.
like no doors on it, like nothing. Like we stripped it down to bare metal, straightened a bunch of metal.
Yeah.
I got new doors. I was like bending door jambs, trying to get shit to fit correctly. Like the car got beat the fuck up for like the prior 2 years because it got to a point where I was like smashing shit. I was like, oh, like the door's already like crushed. Like
Yeah.
who cares if I run into another thing?
Yeah.
You know, both quarter panels smashed in.
Yeah. Shout out Billy
Front
Sutton.
bump. I love that guy. I miss him. Yeah,
Me too.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, quarter panels smashed in. front bumper is like zip tied together in a couple spots. Like it's a polyurethane bumper too. Like yeah, the car was just rough.
Hammered.
Dude. Fucking hammered.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, all right, full refresh. My brother is like working a full time like auto body job at this point. Like, so he's looking at this car like fresh meat. He's like, yo, this is like where I really get to apply some like shit that I've learned.
Mm-hmm.
And we're spending like every weekend at the shop for like months, like 4 or 5 months. Like I lived like 20 minutes from the shop at the time. It was Saturday would come up. He would come over to my house. We go to this like Taiwanese cafe and get this like pint of like triple espresso coffee from this cafe, some like chicken rice and some shit. Just go to the shop. And yeah,
like,
just
like 800 milligrams of caffeine. Let's
dude,
get it.
it's like an unhealthy amount. Of
Yeah.
coffee.
Heart palpitation level of caffeine.
Yeah, like really bad. And we would just go like get to it on the car. And like I learned so much from him. Because like
This is your younger brother, right?
yeah, it's my younger brother. Like I got into bodywork. And like I had torn the car up before and like tried to like fix the metal and shit and realized I did it wrong and just plastered fucking Bondo on it. I was like, all right, well that's flat.
Yeah.
You know. And so he's like tearing the paint down, looking at all this shit. He's like, dude, how deep is this shit? He gets it down to bare metal. It's like, yo, what the fuck did you do? I'm like, oh, I fucking pulled from here, here, and there. He's like, yeah, don't do that again, ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you like, patience is key when it comes to like bending metal back to where it's like supposed to be. Yeah. Drift dudes.
I just
don't.
destroyed the back of my street car trying to pull it straight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could make it worse.
I made
very
it
easily.
so much. It looks straight from like 5 feet, but it will never be good again.
Yeah. No.
And I was trying to sell the car. I shouldn't say that on the podcast, but like, fuck,
It's all
dude, I
good.
fucked it up so
just
bad.
bleep this whole part out.
No, leave it in.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
All right. Yeah. They know what they're getting. But yeah, there's like a quarter panel that we got to. And he's like, yeah, you stretched the fuck out of this metal, like really bad. And yeah, he fixed it. Like
Yeah.
he managed. So like,
Not only did he fix it, but you guys did like almost like wide body flares.
oh yeah, we went.
Like it was
yeah, we went.
your
in
car
with it.
when your brother was done with it and when you painted it was fucking incredible.
Yeah, and it was like he didn't know what was in my head.
Yeah.
He just knew that he had to get this metal correct.
Yeah.
And so like there was all this metal that I stretched out. I didn't know you could shrink metal back down.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, he knew. He knew how to do it.
Yeah.
So he fixed. It was one thing like
I might need your
fixing.
brother's help.
Yeah, it was one thing fixing all the shit that I fucked up via drifting, and there's another thing fixing all the shit that I fucked up via trying to fix it.
Yeah.
Myself. Yeah. A lot of welding went on that car, like a lot of like metal straightening, cutting. I caught it on fire one time, trying to
Sick.
like, yeah, I was like patching up a hole because I deleted the windshield or the rear windshield wiper, and I forgot there was like some towels on the inside, so a piece of slag landed on the towel. I like look up after I'm welding, and there's like smoke coming out the window. So I like
That's good.
fucking like panic open the hatch, and our like shop neighbors were like washing a car. He just comes over and just hoses the back of my hatch. And,
Perfect.
like puts the fire out. Yeah. I melted my speaker, like melted like some other shit. Yeah, dude, just I don't know what the fuck I'm doing,
Yeah.
basically. But
Relatable.
I didn't know what the fuck I was doing when I first got on the
That's
drifting.
why I don't build motors.
Have you blown up a motor? Not.
That's why I don't build motors.
Oh, so you're not learning the hard way.
Yeah.
Good choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, motors are pretty crucial. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I didn't know what I was doing, but I still was
Mm.
doing it. Yeah, not the greatest choice, but I didn't have a choice. Yeah, we had to
Yeah.
get the car done. So yeah, it was like it'd be funny because like my brother, I mean, he's got his own life that he's living, so like he'd come over, he messes so much time into it, and he's like, oh yeah, I got this going on for like this time. I'm like, all right, well, just tell me what I need to do, and I would do it, and then like. You know, we don't use antennas anymore on cars.
No.
So I patched that up. I didn't need a rear window wiper, patch that up.
Mhm.
You know, we're just deleting and shaving a bunch of stuff. But I didn't realize how little heat it takes to expand sheet metal and warp it.
Mm.
So like I would delete the rear wiper. It's all patched up, shaved down. I like put all the beads in, filled it in perfectly, shaved it. I'm like, oh, that looks sick, dude. You can't tell there was anything there. There's like no pits, no nothing. And then we go to like, you know, fill the hatch. And my brother's like, dude, this thing's warped. Like mad warped. And I'm looking at it from a certain angle. We like guide coat it and like sand it. I'm like, oh, there's like a lot of low spots. He's like, how much, like how did you do the welding? I'm like, oh, I fucking ripped the whole bead. He's like, no, should have spot welded that. And I was like, oh yeah. So I learned a lot of shit the hard way for
Damn.
sure. And like he was coming in and undoing my mistakes. But it got done and like,
It was crazy.
dude, yeah. Like
That was that like
it's like a month before gallery and my car's still bare metal. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, dude,
no shot.
how do we do this, man? Like, how does this
Yeah.
get done? To the point where like we're showing pictures and like my brother learned a lot from his job and like the classes he's getting, but he learned an equal amount from my dad because my dad did
Mm.
body work when he was like coming up. And at this point, my dad sees where we are. And he's like, oh, the event's a month away. Now my dad's like coming to the
No
shop.
way.
Yeah.
That's so sick, dude.
Yeah, my dad's like, they need help. Like they need some guidance, like this and that.
The whole family pulled up.
Yeah, so my dad and my brother are like ripping on this car while I'm at work. Like I gave him the shop to the or the
And you're at
keys to the
Safeway
shop.
fighting off fucking people
I
stealing shit.
probably gave up on fighting off people at this point.
Yeah, you're like, I'm just gonna count
Just
these
like,
fucking
whatever, dude. Ring up this
I'm gonna-
avocado, like get on my way.
Yeah, there's 8 corn here. Like,
yeah,
we'll move on.
Everything's bananas. 4011.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever, dude. Yeah,
All right, bananas.
Yeah,
Get the
yeah,
fuck
yeah.
out of here.
Yeah.
I got a jerk car to build.
yeah. So like I'm working, 8, 9, 10 hours. And then I'm going to the shop. And they're like, hey, we did this and that. You need to do this and that. And I just like work on the car for like 4 or 5 hours, go to sleep for like 3, 4 hours, and then go to work the next day. Yeah, they would just like basically they would give me like a to-do list.
Yeah. They're like,
Yeah.
here's things you can't fuck up.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're gonna do all the really hard to do body shit.
Yeah. So like it was really cool like watching my dad do the body because like the last time he was like that into like a paint job, I was young, dude. Like
Yeah.
I hadn't seen him like tear into a car like that, like into it in like years.
Damn.
And so there was like tips and tricks that I was probably like fucking 10 when he was like trying to explain it. I don't know what the hell he's talking
Yeah.
about. But now like an adult who like knows my way around cars, and he's like, oh, this is how you like blend fenders and this and that. And like one of the
Yeah.
coolest tricks he showed me was like I have metal like weld on fenders, like flares.
Yeah.
And so there's like a very sharp, like 30-degree angle on it. So like we stitched it and like filled it up with like body filler and all this stuff. And he's like, oh, this is how you like blend a flare to a quarter panel. And he like grabs radiator hose out of some box. Who I don't know whose radiator hose it was. And he like wraps it in like 80 grit, like the stick back 80 grit, and then like shapes it to the fender and just like starts sanding away. It's like a perfect circle.
Oh.
Yeah, he's just like going all over the fender and like
Dude, that's
filling
like
it.
old school hot rod guy
Dude,
fucking
yeah,
shit.
yeah.
That's
So he's like
the
filling
sickest.
it. He's looking at it. He's like, yeah, you see the angle at the top? He's like, the top's where everyone's gonna see it. So you gotta like match the rest of it. So yeah, now you look at it from this angle, look at it from the up angle, and it's like, yeah, it's just a radiator hose with sandpaper wrapped around it. Yeah, and like the fenders look amazing. Like
Yeah. They do.
yeah, like
Oh, it's so sick.
yeah. I remember like putting like progress pictures into like group chats and whatnot. It was just like the metal fenders like tack welded on. And people were like,
God,
where are you going with this,
Damn,
man?
yeah,
No,
yeah.
they were like, yo, that
that's gonna look like shit.
yeah, like people.
And
There
your
was
dad
like
came and
people.
saved the fucking day.
Yeah, there was like people because like well, I explained to my dad like how I wanted it to look, and he knew what to do. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because like he had done the same thing on his old his 240, like his 240 had flares on it,
Mm.
but he didn't like the G flare look,
yeah.
so he had like metal flares and like
Molded
molded
them.
a smooth curve into the quarter panel. So he's like, oh yeah, it's like my Z. I'm like, yeah. So
That's
yeah,
so
he knew what he was getting into. He knew what to do, and Yeah, so he's like showing us all this like crazy techniques and stuff. He had this one tool called the Ripper, which was just like an 8-inch like sanding disc with like 40 grit on it. So like,
That's a ripper.
dude, yeah, when we were tearing down the car, because like I'd stripped the paint on that thing a couple times before.
Yeah.
It's like a whole week project.
Yeah.
And he's like, no,
Oh.
you're gonna like
The Ripper
seal
did it in
dude.
a day.
I stripped that fucking door down like an hour to metal. I was I was always scared to do this because I thought it would just sand too much. He's like, nah, man. It's like you see metal, just stop touching that part. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, dude, that thing.
Was that like kind of like full circle with like the like karting era, your dad coming back and like getting like all in on like the drifting thing and like kind of like understanding that you're like building this car for drifting?
It was just like, for me, it was the coolest thing of like, my dad was so ahead of me in terms of cars that like I couldn't comprehend what he was trying to explain to me.
Mm.
Fast forward 10 years, I'm like kind of with the shits now.
Yeah.
And but I still wasn't good at body work.
Yeah.
Like I like what I was saying earlier, he was trying to explain to me like caster and camber curves and how like toe in and toe out affects like turning into
You
the
totally
tail.
understand and appreciate that now.
Yeah, so now like I teach him stuff, which is
Mm.
like that's the cool part.
That feels good.
Yeah, he's finally like, dude, I remember having these conversations with you when you're like 15 years old, you had no idea what I was talking about.
Yeah.
And it's like now, like after learning the chassis a lot and like how to set up suspension, I'm like, oh yeah, this does this and that, and blah blah blah.
Mm.
He's like, all right. It's like now it clicked. Yeah. But like he's not just like a car setup guy. He's not just like a road race and like drag race guy. Like he could take a car down to the frame,
Build
put it back
up.
together,
Yeah.
make it look sick, make it like calendar worthy,
And drive
and take it
well.
to the track. Yeah. Yeah. And it's always been a hobby to him too. Yeah.
Never made any money doing it really other than
No,
like
he
side
made-
projects.
It was a side business. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like when we lived in San Jose, he ran a side business called Customs and Colors out of the house.
Damn.
Yeah. And my parents had kids young, like
Mm.
really young. So there was always like a family to look out for.
Mm.
So I think I've talked to him a couple times about it. And I think that was like the one thing that like held him back from taking the big step of
Turning
like,
into his
yeah,
everyday thing.
because he had a really good job for GM.
Mm.
Like he was a service writer, eventually moved up to Cadillac. So he had stability in that job and then fueled the passion and like the side money from his side business.
Mm.
But to like make it a full-time business where like that's where all his time was at.
Yeah. If
That's
you
a
got
big
3
risk when you got
kids,
kids to
losing your
feed.
fucking benefits. Like,
Yeah, stuff like that. So I think that was the reason why he never like really took the big step. He's like, I know I could like keep a roof over their head, keeping this job and then just doing the side thing. Yeah.
So going back to finishing the car, like,
Yeah, it's
what was the deadline like? Was he there? Was your brother there? Like,
there was a point to where it was all three of us there on weekends, like grinding for like 12, 13, 14 hours a day. And me looking at the car and it's still in like the first coat of primer. Because we stripped it down the metal, did a bunch of metal bending, a bunch of Bondo, sealed, back down, resealed.
damn.
Like the thing got sprayed in sealer and primer 2 times.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, so it's like when my dad gets his hands on things, like
wants
we're
it
not
done
cutting
right.
corners.
Yeah.
He's like, dude, you're showing.
Sounds like it.
He's like, you're showing up to Final Bout like sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he like stayed to that. Yeah, and so at this point, like it's my car and like my vision and all that stuff, but I'm like kind of a passenger at this point
Yeah,
as far as like what's
sounds like it.
getting done to it. Yeah, and like I don't. There's nobody I trust more than them.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, he's at this point, I'm just like, you tell me what to do because I don't like bodywork's kind of above me. So, yeah, we like sealed the car, sprayed it in 1K, sanded it down. At this point, we're fixing like small, low, and high spots. Like it's like the minuscule stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, it's like 2 weeks out from
You're like,
gallery.
I need to paint this car.
It's 2 weeks out from gallery. My car's in primer.
Yeah, you're like, I
I'm
need
like,
paint
we're
on this thing.
driving
We
it there, so technically it's 1 week out. And
Yeah.
at this point, I'm like, kind of like emotional. Just like looking at, it, I'm like, dude, like we just put so much effort. I don't think it's gonna happen. Like,
And also, you're driving it
yeah, I couldn't
3,000
fathom
miles.
I couldn't fathom the car getting like paint.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was like looking at my 40 something hour work week, and I'm like, where do I come over and paint this thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so yeah, they're like busting away. I'm like having this conversation with my dad and my brother. We're like in the corner of the shop because like a bunch of people over. We're like have like an emotional like conversation. I'm like, dude, I can't do it. I can't do it. My brother's like, dude, I just spent like 100 hours on this thing. He's like, you're fucking doing it.
Yeah.
He like walked away, pissed off.
Yeah, he's like, you fucking bitch. Like,
Yeah,
you
dude.
better
He's like
do it.
mad at me.
Yeah.
And I'm like emotional. I'm like, dude, how do I do this, dude? Like,
Yeah.
how do I get this done? Like he fucking like stormed out of the shop. My dad's like, we'll get it done, man. Like we're gonna make this happen. And we're like just grinded away till like 3 a.m. I'm like buying my dad and my brother like hotels by the shop and shit,
Yeah.
like to get it done. And I think it's the weekend or maybe just a few days before we had planned to like leave for the road trip to gallery. And at this point, like my brother's out of PTO. My dad has his like work days.
Yeah.
They
Oh, your
gave me
brother's
a-
taking time off for this.
Yeah, sometimes.
Oh,
Yeah. He was like
yeah.
doing all his days off, but every
Yeah.
once in a while he'd like take a day off.
Yeah.
Like my dad was doing his free time and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so it got to the point to where they did their part. They're like, hey, this is what needs to be done. The rest is on you. Like the car is almost ready to be sprayed. You need to like do this, and that, mask it, get it ready for spray. So at this point, I've never painted a car. I've like painted side skirts, bumpers maybe. That's
Oh,
it.
you're up.
Yeah. I'm up to bat, dude. Yeah. And
Fuck.
so I had some guidance from like Russ because like he was the one who like really like well set up the paint booth. I'm using his guns and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm still learning how to read charts.
Yeah.
And we didn't.
And you just watch your dad and your brother put like 200 hours into the
Dude.
body, and you're like, I cannot fuck
Massive
this
work.
paint job up.
Yeah. And like I just remember going to the shop one like afternoon, and it was like time to spray the car. Like it's prepped. Like it's sanded. It's where it needs to be. I just had to mask it, roll it into the booth, and like get to it. And we didn't choose a simple color. Like I didn't
No.
choose like a gloss
Fuck no, you
red,
didn't.
no single stage. Like
No.
no, we're doing 3-stage candy, like all that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so like my dad
Baller.
wrote me a note like on how to spray candy and like demonstrated it to me and all that stuff before he left, and like took off home and was like, oh yeah, this is how you do it. Like don't do panel to panel. You got to do front to back, like corner to corner of the car. Otherwise you'll like
Yeah.
tiger stripe it and shit.
Yeah.
So I'm just like staring at this note, like full of coffee. And I'm just like, all right, like
Yeah.
this is what he
Gotta
said.
make him proud.
Yeah. And went to the shop at like, I don't know, 1 p.m. or something like that. And like pushed it in the booth, masked it, like got it all up in the air and like taped it all off. And sprayed the silver base. And I think Russ was with me to like spray the silver base, like helped me like learn all his tools and stuff like that. And like any like weird like things with our paint system. And he's like, all right, I gotta go home. I was like, all right, cool. So just me at the shop, spray the silver
Solo.
base, came out, and like silver, you could fuck up silver too. Like you could
Yeah.
tiger
Oh,
stripe silver,
absolutely.
yeah. And so sprayed silver, like laid immaculately. I was like, yo, that looks sick.
Yeah.
And then
Like, I'm gonna stop here. No.
Nah, yeah, Russ took off. And then for like House of Colors candy, you have to spray like a tack coat of clear.
Mhm.
So it goes silver base coat, a tack coat, like an intercoat. And that's what like the color coat bonds to.
Mm.
So you go silver, clear coat, tack coat, whatever you want to call it. And now we're mixing color coat.
Yeah. And like flash times and all. It's like,
Yeah, flash times. I was using slow reducer because like it just sprays better when you do slow. And then yeah, now I'm mixing red. And I'm like super nervous. I'm like, oh, this is the one you could really fuck up. And yeah, sprayed it. But when you go between the color coat and then the gloss coat, the clear coat, it's a bit of a longer like flash time. And so I like aired up the air mattress and like took like an hour nap, like outside of the paint booth.
Damn.
And then like my alarm woke me up probably at like 5 a.m. I'm like, all right, time to spray clear coat. Yeah, like sprayed the car, pulled it out, sprayed the arrow. I think it was different couple days, but yeah, did the car, came back to the shop, silver, red, clear coat on the arrow, and then like went to work off like 2 hours of sleep. And I remember like at the end of the shift, like
Bringing up avocados.
yeah, we have
Hallucinating.
avocados, dude.
You're like, that's not an avocado, dude.
Circle K, yeah, like deli chicken wings, all that shit. I just remember like getting a text because like the Goldstar guys were like doing some shit at the shop, and all my stuff was like in the booth curing.
Yeah.
And so like Russ pulls it out, and like it's a clear sunny day, and he like takes a picture of like some like rear like mud guards or something, like holds it in the sun. I was like through the picture, I was like, dude, that color is so sick, because they saw it in like direct light before I did.
Yeah.
It looked cool in the paint booth. I'm like,
I think I did it.
yeah.
Was your dad proud? Did he like?
Dude, he's stoked.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was.
Your brother and your dad were
stoked.
just like,
They were both
yeah.
stoked. Yeah, I pulled it together. I pulled it together at the end.
Yeah.
I was like,
No tiger stripes. Laid down the candy.
it's not perfect. I know where it's fucked up, but
Yeah.
like you gotta really look.
Yeah.
You gotta really look to like see where it's fucked up. Like,
Yeah.
I learned
metal,
some shit. Yeah.
metal flares, candy paint.
Yeah, like molded metal flares, like blended candy paint. First time I painted a full car.
Yeah.
Yeah, just I don't know, just locked in and then made it happen.
Yeah.
And so like the cool thing is all the Goldstar guys saw it first, took pictures of the paint, sent it to me. Like, dude, that looks insane in the sun. And I like finally like went like to the shop and like carried a side skirt out in the direct sun. I was like, I can't not paint a car and not color candy anymore. Like, that's the best shit ever, dude.
It is.
Yeah, it's the best shit ever.
Yeah.
And yeah, car sprayed at this point. And then it's back to the reality of like we have to street drive it to Chicago.
All the way to Chicago.
Yeah.
After you just did all this body work.
Yeah.
Paint.
Paint's still curing. And it's like, it's one thing to like strip a car down and put it together for an event, but it's another thing to make it street legal. Like you got to make sure all the lights work. And it's
Yeah.
like, because I did a full paint job, like all the grommets for the door handles and like weather stripping, everything came out. Like everything came out. So I got to put all like the lock linkage back together. Like,
Oh.
yeah, like it had to be street safe.
Yeah.
Dude, it took us like a day and a half. So we're like, oh, we need to leave Sunday morning. Because we're in the middle of putting the car together, and Max is looking at the weather, and he's like, yo, there's a snowstorm like that's gonna pass over Park City. So we're like weighing out our options. We're like, oh, if we go down around Las Vegas and through Texas and like up, we'll avoid the snowstorm. And I'm like, well, how long is that gonna take?
Yeah,
You
like
know?
12
That adds
hours.
like another day of travel on.
Yeah.
And we're like, when is the snowstorm coming? And I think it's supposed to hit like Tuesday morning or something. And it's like Sunday morning at the shop. Yeah, so we had like 2 days to get past Utah, and the car's in pieces. Like, yeah, so
You having another like, I don't know if I can do this moment.
at this point, the car's painted, and I'm just like,
I have to go.
it's go time, dude.
Yeah.
Like, put the car together and let's go. So like him and our friend Ryan, like, I owe them a ton for like, we're like on different corners of the car, like putting shit together, putting lights in, making sure everything's stable, like trying to make like mounting brackets for bumpers. I just destroyed them like previously. And it's like hard to get OEM parts.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we spent like a day and a half like putting this car together. We were supposed to leave Sunday morning. We leave Monday morning at like 3 a.m. No sleep. Like, yeah, they showed up Sunday to the shop ready to leave. Like their bags are packed.
Damn.
Like they're not supposed to go back home, but we're still there Sunday night. So like at this point, we're just getting energy drinks and just like working on it. And I like go rip it around the block real quick. And I'm like, Yeah, seems cool. All the lights work. Like, there's no funny noises,
Yeah.
shit like that. And like, because we are worried about the like snow coming in, we had to like rethink how we're gonna set up the car. So I think we had already aligned it, and then I had to take the wheels off my daily and like put them on the car because they're like normal like wheels and tires. Because we were worried about like putting snow chains on the car. Because we saw the storm. It was like a huge storm system coming through. So like, went to Walmart, got chains, like for like the normal size like wheels and tires. Like raised the car up a little bit to
I'll
be
take
able to fit the
2
chains.
chains, please.
Yeah, to be able to fit the chains, we had to raise the car back, take it back to Aaron's shop, realign it again for the road trip. Take it back to our shop, and it's huge mess. Just like trying to fight this storm system. We finally take off. We're like, all right, car's ready. Like, let's go. It's a Lexus LX, full of all my like spares, wheels, tires, like just tools, everything, and my Z packed like to the brim. Like we just take off, and now we're going up to 80. Black ice warning in like Donner Pass. We're doing like 30 miles an hour through there. Dude.
Fuck.
Yeah, because it was
Donner
like
Pass, where the Donners
pass.
passed, literally
Yeah,
trying to make it to the west
to
side.
the Donner Lake.
Yeah,
Yeah, those who know.
yeah.
Do you know?
I don't know. I don't know enough.
I
Yeah,
don't know.
it never dawned on me.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool though because I watched Dawn. What?
Like the soap.
No, like the sun.
Oh,
Yeah.
dawn. It
Yeah,
dawned
'cause
on
that's-
you as
yeah.
you're coming over the pass.
Yeah, that is now
Oh
dawn.
shit!
Time of day.
Fuck.
Yeah, we're at the
Okay,
roads.
so you're doing 30 miles an hour. Black
Through
ice
Donner
warning.
Pass, black ice warning. Trying to get to Reno because we were
You
like
chained up yet or no?
No, we never chained actually. Surprisingly.
So you just fucking raw dogged it all the way through the pass.
Yeah, so we took off like 3 or 4 in the morning, got to Reno at like 7 or some shit. We were like, dude, let's take a nap. Got a hotel literally to nap at like 8 in the morning. They're like, yo, like we need to check out. We're like at an awkward time of the day. Like, we'll check out at noon. Like,
Like, I gotta get on
literally
the
just we
fucking
just need
road.
like 4 hours, man. Like,
Yeah.
So we take a nap in Reno, get some fucking gas station food, and we're like hightailing it through all of Nevada, get to Salt Lake City, take a break. We're looking at the storm. We're like, we need to get over the Park City Pass. Because like
Yeah.
if we don't get past Park City, we're stuck for like 3 days.
Yeah.
So we're like mashing up the mountain, get past Park City. We're getting into Wyoming at this
Is it
point.
like raining yet at all or no?
It wasn't too bad, actually.
Yeah.
Like
So you
Donner
beat
Pass
the
was like the
storm.
sketchiest part.
Okay.
We think we beat the storm.
Yeah.
So we're in Wyoming. Woke up in Reno that morning after like a 3-hour nap. We're in Wyoming, mashing down that 80. A cop pulls me over for doing like 85.
Damn.
Yeah. And he's just like, yo,
He's like, I
like,
saw
where
the
you
candy
headed? I'm
paint.
like telling him the whole story. He's like, oh, that's crazy. Like, And he's like, hey, there's like a pretty big storm coming in.
You're like, yeah, that's why I'm doing 85.
Yeah,
bro.
it's like, yeah, I'm just trying to get like to a certain point, blah, blah, blah. He's like, well, if it's, they come out of nowhere, like they move fast. He's like, I don't want to like pull you out of a ditch later. Like you need to slow down. You need to like chill out. He's like, this car sounds like gnarly, blah, blah, blah. In my head, I'm like, this thing's fucking stock and shit, dude. Like,
This is a VG30, bro.
yeah.
Do your
yeah.
homework.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, this car sounds like pretty powerful, all that stuff. He's like, we don't want to pull you out of a ditch later. I'm like, all right, like, I respect that. He's like, yeah, just, Warren, just slow down.
You're like,
I'm
it
like,
makes
all right.
like 180 horsepower.
Yeah, on a good day, dude, this thing's tired. But like, yeah, he's like, all right, chill out, keep it safe. And like 2 seconds go by, he looks and he's like, is that a real bride? I'm like, the fuck?
You're like, yeah.
Yeah, he's like, sick. And just like walks away. I was like, what the fuck, dude? Like in the middle of Wyoming? Like there's not even a Walmart
Wyoming
nearby,
doesn't play,
dude.
dude. I posted when we were towing through Wyoming. Someone's like, "Oh shit, bro! Like you're in fucking Wyoming. Like go to this place to eat and blah blah." Like,
No, dude, I got places to be, man.
yeah,
Yeah,
they're with the
sorry.
shit though.
Yeah.
All those states got cool people.
The flyover states are like interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah. They're better if you drive through them.
I fuck with Wyoming.
It's got some cool
It's
stuff.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you like cows. You know the town Dix?
Never been,
It says 40 people live there. Yeah.
but they're not very nice.
Their school's like the size of a church. You can see it from the 80.
Sick.
Yeah.
Sick dicks.
Yeah. Dix is sick. Yeah. But yeah. So anyways, stopped in Wyoming. I don't know what time of the night, but it is nightfall. All right, hotel. Time to like sleep. Let's get out of here by 7 a.m.
And you think you've beaten the storm at this point?
We think we did the storm. So we like get the hotel. We're like, all right, cool. No crazy storm yet. Wake up 6, 7 in the morning. Everybody showers. And like, I haven't even looked out the window yet. We're like packed up. Bags on my shoulder. I walk out. There's like an inch and a half of snow in my car.
Fuck.
I was like, oh no, dude. Like, I was like, the storm caught up to us.
Santa Claus is coming, dude.
Yeah. So like, yeah, we just fill up and like take off down the highway and like
No chains.
no chains. We didn't put the chains on because it was like where we were, the town we were in, it was just wet. Like the snow was like kind of
Nice.
dissipating on the highway. But it got a little bit more snowier down the 80 to the point where like I couldn't merge anymore because there's like snow like between the wheel tracks.
Yeah.
I
You're
tried to, like-
I'm driving in these lanes and I'm not
Yeah,
changing
so
them.
like it was starting to like kind of stick in between the lanes, and I went to like merge to get around a truck, and the car just like shimmied.
full
And I was like,
loaded.
all right, well, this is it. Like I'm in
like this is my lane. I've
Yeah.
chosen my lane and this is my lane forever.
Yeah, that was my lane for like.
Sometimes you
400
just gotta
miles,
stay in
dude.
your lane.
I stayed in that lane for 400 miles. Got blasted by trucks doing like 80,
Oh
kicking up all that snow water at me.
yeah.
Yeah,
And you're like, I just candy painted this.
yeah, I do that too. Like the paint was still like curing and shit. Like, yeah. But I didn't care. Dude. It was like, I don't know, the car was together. We were driving. I was stressed, but we were still like on a road trip, which is the coolest thing to do.
Yeah.
I just remember like pulling into a gas station and like doing burnouts up to the pump because like
It's icy.
Yeah, well, it was like sticking anywhere off the highway.
Yeah.
So like now I'm in like snow at this gas station.
Yeah.
And if I stop, I'm stuck. So we're like pulling into the driveway. I was like keeping momentum to get to the pump.
You're like, shout out welded diffs.
Yeah, and it's like I get to the pump and I get out and like my Bomex mirror, like I pulled like a Bomex mirror shape of ice off. I'm like, that's pretty cool. Like, yeah,
You're like, mold this.
yeah. I was like, yeah. Threw it on the ground. I was like, yeah, whatever. Sick. And we kept going. I think we get into like Nebraska, like sunshine at this point.
Yeah.
Like, all right,
I've
ready.
done this drive. I'm happy
You know
that
exactly what I'm
I
talking
know
about.
exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, so we're at like Nebraska.
It's a 3-day, 12 hours every day drive.
Yeah, this is
You're now 2 days into the drive.
Monday morning, Monday nap, Tuesday. So it's Tuesday evening
Yeah.
or Tuesday afternoon.
Yeah. You're like about
Yeah.
2 days
Day
into the
2,
drive.
technically. Yeah, day
And
2
you've been
technically.
fighting for your life this whole time.
Yeah,
And now you see sunshine.
yeah. Now we see sunshine. We're in Nebraska.
Paint's still good.
Pretty good. Yeah, still
Yeah.
pretty good. Yeah, and I'm quarter tank. I'm like, all right, let's go fill up. I'm like, hey, here's the nearest gas station. I walkie-talkie them. I'm like, hey, it's time to fill up. And the exit's like a mile away. So I drop a couple gears and try and let it rip, and it just falls on his face. It's like,
Ah.
like, oh no. Like, and so we pull in this gas station. Luckily, a truck stop. And I'm just like, what the fuck? And I try to do it a couple times. It just gets to like 4,000 RPM and just stops there. Won't go past it. So like immediately I pull in the gas station. I like reach under the bumper because that's where the intake is. And I touch the intake. It's just like dirty water. Like it's soaked. Yeah, it's like, okay. So we like tear the front end of the car apart, take the air intake off, and I go inside and I'm like looking for like MAF cleaner or anything. They had like some
Yeah.
electronics like aerosol cleaner thing.
Yeah.
Take the MAF out, spray it clean, like air it out, rip water and like aerosol cleaner shit through like the air intake and like wait for it to dry and like eat a little bit of food and put it back on. And get to go back on the highway, just like all the way to red line. Rips, no
Yes.
problem. Like, let's go, dude. Yeah. And yeah, it's afternoon. We're trying to plan out like our next stop, and we're like, oh, if we do like 15, 16 hours, like we could just make it to Chicago. So yeah, we showed up to Simba's house 5 in the morning, 4 in the
Yeah.
morning on a Wednesday or some shit. Yeah. At this point, I'm like, dude, I made it to Chicago. Like, all my
That's all that
fucking-
matters. Yeah.
Yeah, my wheels that are like still like curing and sealing are like in the Lexus and shit. Yeah, I'm like hitting everybody up. I'm like, yo, who could like? Oh no! I didn't even have tires on the wheels because they were still curing. Like we just sealed them. I was hoping they like held air. So like the next day, like activities start happening. We go to TF, bless them. Like Dave gets me in to like get some tires mounted. We go back to Simba's, slam the car back down on the ground, put the wheels and tires on, and that was like the first time I actually saw the car like done.
Put together. Yeah.
Yeah, because like I didn't get to put the wheels on at the sack shop.
Because you had to raise it.
Yeah, and I had to reseal them because I just rebuilt them. They had like new wheels or new lips and barrels, and so it was like Simba's driveway that like the car actually
Was
got
done.
complete. Yeah, yeah. I was like Taco was like helping me like drill holes in the lip that I just painted to like mount it on, and like yeah, I think Angel, I don't know, just a bunch of people were just like, oh, let's help him like get it together because it's just the meet that night,
Yeah.
like the meet.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so yeah, we just like eyeball lined it, slammed it on the ground, put the wheels on, took a step back, took hella pictures, sent that shit to my dad. He was stoked.
Yeah. He's like,
He's like,
fuck
damn,
yeah.
dude, that shit looks cool. And then just like went ripping around Chicago that night. Like
Yeah.
car finally done. Like I'm finally like everyone's getting into town. They're like seeing the car for the first time. They're like, oh yeah, like the progress pics, like we didn't see the vision, but like here it is now. I was
Yeah.
like,
It was wild.
yeah, shit looked
It was
cool.
Wild.
I was stoked on it.
Yeah.
And yeah, just like had fun that night. Ripped all around Chicago, like doing highway pulls.
Yeah.
Me and I think Stoneback fucking
I remember that night.
yeah, dude.
I was riding with JY.
Yeah, we like
in the
oh,
R32.
you were in you were in
Yeah.
JY's car, yeah.
Yeah.
Because you were the first ones we caught up to.
Yeah.
Like we were getting gas or some shit. So me and him like got split off from the group. I'm like, oh, I need to like rip. I see like 240 lights in my mirror. I'm like, who is that? And like we're doing like 110, 120, like down the 95. Like it's just 240s like on my ass still. I'm like, all right, cool. Like it's somebody in the group and we like finally catch up to you guys. Yeah. I remember talking to him after that. He's like, yeah, I was like at Redline in 5th because he had like a 4.9 or something in his like car.
Yeah.
Probably spent like a half tank of gas on that shit. Yeah. But yeah, it was cool. Like next day comes around and I bought my brother a plane ticket to like go to the event.
Yeah.
And
He was so proud.
yeah, so the last time he sees the car is in primer at the shop.
Yeah.
And I drove the car to O'Hare to go pick him up.
Yeah.
Done. So yeah, he got like
That's
he got picked
sick,
up. He got
dude.
to see it for the first time, like picking him up at the airport. He's like, yeah,
He was really proud of you.
yeah, shit was sick. Yeah,
Yeah.
he was stoked.
Your brother's really cool.
Yeah, that dude rips.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's awesome. And so yeah, fucking street drove it around all of Chicago, all of Wisconsin
To the track.
ripped it all weekend,
Yeah.
broke some shit, destroyed or blew the clutch slave out.
Mm.
Yeah,
That'll
replaced it
happen.
with the wrong part
Yeah.
because that's all O'Reilly and Green Bay had.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Drove it home.
yeah.
I
Drove home.
remember watching you raise it at Simba's house to drive it home, and I was like, "You're out of your fucking mind, dude."
Yeah,
And you're like, "I
yeah.
drove it here through a storm," and I was like, "Okay." Well,
Dude, I just remember like the day before we were supposed to take off, like US Air is pretty tough on cars, like with all this is like
yeah, for sure.
elevation changes. And I wore out the balls on the inner tie rods. So like it's like, oh yeah, I just gotta race it and like, drive it home. And like I'm taking it to Simba's house and I like hit the brakes before and like the whole steering wheel's like shaking. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Yeah, I get in the air and like the balls are like done.
Smokes.
Yeah. Inner tie rods are fucked. I was like, all right, well now we gotta go to a parts store and like get more inner tie
Yeah,
rods.
I was there for that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm like, at this point, we're on the road going home. More storms. Yeah, more storms. I think we got to Nevada or something.
Yeah.
Like, dude, we're so close to home, and it's like we're going through these mountain passes, and we're like, I'm on FaceTime because I'm like so tired and delusional. Like, I was just like FaceTiming friends, like whoever would pick up, I just FaceTime them.
You're like,
I'm
talk
like,
to
dude,
me,
just
please.
like fucking stimulate me, like please, like, dude, I was so out of it, and I'm like stress driving because like there's lightning going off like beside the car, like we're in the clouds. It's not even above us. It's like we're in the lightning, like some crazy shit going off. And like now I'm stressed
Like,
out.
don't
I'm
hit
like
my
getting,
candy paint,
oh,
please.
yeah, I'm like getting off FaceTime. I'm like, hey, I kind of need to concentrate actually. Like I'm
Yeah.
I'm awake now. Like
You're like, I'm fighting for my life
yeah,
again.
yeah, it was
For
pretty
the-
bad. And like we get back into this valley, like out of this storm. I'm like, that sucked, dude. I'm like on the walkie-talkie. I'm like, dude, I need to get out of this car.
Yeah.
And Max is like, all right, like next, gas station, like I'll take it, I'll drive for you. I'm like, thank you, dude. Like savior. And like we get in this valley and I can see this like dark cloud on the other side of the valley. I'm like, fuck, dude, like this is another storm. I'm like looking at the map. We're in the middle of Nevada. I'm like, can we go around this? There's no exit for like 15 miles. I'm like, we gotta go through it. Like we have to go through it. So we're like, we get to this next storm cloud. And like all these cars that like passed me in the previous storm, I caught up to them because it was like a terrible hailstorm. Like
Fuck.
really bad. This dude in a BMW like E90 like blasted by me. And we catch up and like even the semis are doing like 30 miles an hour now.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden everybody hard braked. And that same E90 was like in the side. Like off the highway. Yeah. And I was like, we can't stop because like if we're on the shoulder and like somebody like checks up, like they can't stop. Like
Yeah.
we just got to keep going.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
I hope
yeah.
they're fine, And I'm like, the car's wiggling around. I'm looking in my rearview mirror. Max's like LX on like all terrains is wiggling around. I'm like, yo, this is like super bad. And like we finally get to like the next exit because like I'm over driving my car at this point. Like I did not want to sit in it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, let's get some gas in it. And their internet shut down at the gas station because of the storm.
Oh.
So we're like looking through all of our cars for like change, for like cash. We're like they were like, we asked them, we're like, where the next, it was like 40 miles to the next gas station. We're like pretty low. And so we had to like split our cash between the LX and the Z to like get it to the next gas station.
Fuck.
Yeah. Like at this point, it's like, we're not really having that much fun anymore. We're on like,
I don't know, dude. That sounds pretty fun to me.
we're on survival mode, like trying to
Yeah.
like get home. And like, I took a nap in the LX. Max is driving at this point, and the weather was decent from that point on. And I take back over at some point in Nevada, and now my like water gauge is wiggling. I'm like, dude, what the fuck, dude? Yeah, and like we pull over, make sure there's no like coolant leaks going on, and I like look under the car, and it's like a puddle of oil under it. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? So we jack it up, and it's like coming out of the transmission belt housing. I was like, oh, the rear main's still like
It's going.
gone.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that shit's done. I was like, well, that we can't fix that. It's just like I just put another quart of oil in it and just
Yeah.
yeah, and like I go to set the like car back down, and I realized we didn't align it correctly. My front tires are like camera worn,
And
Like,
completely smoked.
bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, now we got to rotate the like front wheels, or yeah, to
These
the
are off your
back.
daily, so when you get home, like you have
Daily
no
tires. Are
tires.
done. Yeah. Yeah. So now we rotate the tires. Like we're in some like concrete plant. Yeah,
Sick.
like parking lot. And I
Hell
like
yeah.
walk over to the dudes. I'm like, yo, I need to like do a couple things on my car. Is it cool if we do it here? And they're like, whatever, dude. Like, go for it. So yeah, we were like rotating, like fucking fixing shit, making sure there's no coolant leaks. We're like an hour or two outside of Reno. Like tires are rotated, like put another quart of oil in it. Like I overfilled it because I knew it was like puking oil.
Mhm.
And like Max was looking at the weather. He's like, "Hey, there's another storm coming."
Oh my God,
let's
dude.
go, dude. We got some like quick dinner in Reno. Like went over the mountain pass. Get back to the Goldstar shop. I don't know what time. I'm like so stressed out at this point. Like we pull up to the garage, and like Max is like celebratory, like honking, but I'm in like such a like negative mindset that I thought something was wrong. I'm like, what are you honking about? And he's like, it was like, we made it. I'm like,
Oh.
oh yeah, dude, you're right. Like, it's like, holy shit. Like, open up the roll up door. I fucking rip a sitter, like just pulling into the shop, like stand on the car and like take a picture, like locked it up, out. Didn't touch
Yeah.
the car for like a month after that.
Yeah. Slept
Yeah.
for like 2 days.
No, I was still on vacation, so came down to SoCal, like visited some friends, just like hung out.
Nice. Wow.
Yeah,
Lots of
I
energy.
did not go home.
Yeah.
I was like, no, we're still on vacation mode. Yeah, I kept the bender going, and yeah, I was like, yeah, I'm cool off cars for like a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sick.
I gotta pee.
Yeah. I think we
Bro,
should
this
fucking
sounds so bad.
end it on that, dude.
We can.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was an
Drifting.
incredible story.
cars.
Yeah.
Yeah. Callie was sick. Thanks to Final Bout.
There was like
It was-
no discussion of the event itself. It was only the prep and like before and getting home, which honestly is like the
Dude, that
craziest
shit
part
was
of the whole thing.
mind-blowing. Yeah. Like, would I do it again? Question mark. I can't say no.
Yeah.
Am I glad I did it at least once? Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
That shit was
So-
sick.
yeah.
It would have been like, I wish Max could have done with it. That was the big plan. Was like me and Max doing it together.
Yeah. It's an incredible
Um,
story.
Yeah. So it's like, I think it's still a bucket list. Maybe him and I will knock it out one day.
Yeah.
Like, it'd be mad fun. But yeah, dude. Stressful, but sick. It's
Yeah.
cool to look back on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was like the first time like on wax I like talked about it.
What time of year?
2019?
What time of the year?
Oh. It was fucking May. Which is like, why was it snowing?
That's fucking crazy. They
No,
didn't want you to
gallery
win.
was in May.
They didn't want you to win, dude.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
won.
But you won.
Yeah. Mother Nature was like, yo, sit down. I'm like, yo, stand up. All right, we got this.
If that's not a lesson and don't give the fuck up, I don't know what is.
Yeah. Yeah. See, I feel like everybody has stories like that. Like that was like gallery was
I don't
like,
know.
Dude, I mean, it's like we just watched Tom like reshell.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Dude, Josh is like pulled like the Front Street guys are like,
Yeah, they're
if there's
about
anybody
it.
who's in it, like they're
They're
in
about it. They're fucking about
it.
it.
Yeah. You guys have pulled together some crazy shit. Jason's like shown up and like it not worked out for him.
Yeah.
And
Happened
then
to
like
Julian
was like,
too.
yo, fuck it, dude. We're gonna do it again next year.
Yeah.
Like when you like show up to like, because like I've done that at Final Bout too. Like I think it was Final Bout 2. Showed up, did a bunch of crazy shit to my car, converted to McPherson, did like crazy geometry shit, and it didn't work. I got like 3 laps in.
Yeah.
Just spent like thousands of dollars on towing my car out there and got 3 laps.
Yeah.
And then like still the next year, we're like, oh,
Yeah. I
let's
would
do
have
it
just went to
again.
the fair.
I took a nap under it. Yeah. Like when I realized the case I was in, I was like, well, I'm gonna sleep right here for a little bit.
Yeah, I
in
don't
the
blame you.
shade. Yeah.
I don't blame you.
The jack stands
It's a
rail,
long-
sick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out Harbor Freight.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's like events like that, like bring that shit out of people.
Yeah.
Like, dude, this
I
has
just
to
did it
get
for the
done.
first time, so I have a lot more respect for it now.
Yeah.
I didn't.
It was crazy. Like,
I mean, I had respect for it, but I didn't understand.
I didn't realize you hadn't driven USA with your own car.
Yeah, that was my
like,
first time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was crazy to me.
Yeah.
That was my
Full
vibe.
refresh, paint, fucking everything. I get it, dude. I get it.
Now that you've done it in your own car, how do you like it? The track?
That's sick. Yeah. I wish I got to drive more. Like,
It's a different type of challenging. Like,
yeah.
yeah, like the
feel-
elevation, like the way the momentum like plays to your advantage there.
I definitely figured the track out and I was able to drive it
Yeah.
the way that I wanted to. There was like a
Yeah.
couple things that I'd like
You
to do
spend
better.
like so long thinking you have it, and then like all of a sudden you figure something else out there. It's like,
Mm.
oh, that's why those guys are so fast.
yeah.
Yeah.
I've been fucking driving that shit for 20 years.
Yeah.
However
that
long,
shit's
I don't
tight.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah. You'll go back.
Yeah, that's the plan. I wish I could have made it this year, but still have to line life up a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
Next year's the goal.
Yeah. Sick.
Yeah.
Yeah. You heard it here first. He'll
Don't-
be
don't hold
there
me to
next year.
it.
Yeah.
Don't hold me to it. Yeah. Now the pressure's back on.
So what's up with Goldstar? Like, what's the? Can
I
you see
mean-
everybody coming back together to do like a final bout or something at least? Like,
It was kind of funny because like I just had an epiphany like the other day of like there's some people like in the team now. It's a group of friends before anything else, but like there's some people who have like not done Goldstar events with Goldstar who are like our Goldstar.
yeah,
I'm like, dude, it'd be cool to like get them in on it and like all drift together again.
yeah,
I was thinking about it, I was like, dude, it doesn't matter like when, just if, you know, like
Yeah.
if we like maybe we're gonna be all in our 40s by the time we get all those cars back together.
yeah.
Like
But that would be
as long as
so
we do
sick.
it. Yeah, I was thinking about that. I was like, dude, how sick would it be to go to final about like 20 or whatever?
Yeah.
And we're like these
bunch
old,
of old
heads.
farts.
Yeah, we're these old heads like
There's like a bunch of 20-year-olds there, and they're
Yeah.
just like, "Who the fuck are you guys?"
Yeah,
Be like,
the
I drove
driving-
the first final
dude, the
bout.
driving's like way
We're-
above anything we could comprehend at this point, but we just like get all the cars out there. Like that's the win.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the win. Get the cars there, show up, do a lap, maybe two of us spin out.
yeah,
We just won.
yeah.
Like, that's it,
absolutely.
dude.
Yeah,
Because that part's hard as hell. There's a lot of us. There's like 10 of us
yeah.
or something.
It's not easy.
It's a lot of cars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll happen.
Yeah. But like I said before, like a drift team, we're just a group of like cool dudes who
Yeah,
like love each other. And so that part comes first.
that's what a drift
um,
team's all about. What it should be
yeah.
about.
Yeah. It's like, it's hard to find that shit nowadays. Like everyone's like, oh, that's cool. You guys like have this shop that you like upkeep with each other and like trust each other with. And it's like, there's been some that have like come and gone.
Yeah.
But like more of us have just like still here
Yeah,
years later.
yeah,
Yeah. That's the hard part. Yeah.
yeah,
Like not everybody's lives like sync up together. And so like if you could like understand that part, it's like, oh, they're gonna deal with that. But like
and they'll be back.
yeah,
Yeah.
look, yeah, everybody comes back around. It's like I think some people like treat others differently because like they're not on the same page as others like
Yeah.
in life. It's like, oh well, he's not that serious about it. Like,
Yeah,
you know, like I'm trying to drift full time, well, this and that. Like I don't like that
It's about the
person's not,
long game.
yeah, that person's not as serious about it, so I'm gonna go do this instead. But like for us, like I said, it's the friendship before the drifting part.
right.
So like,
And the long game.
yeah, we're always gonna have our cars.
Yeah,
Yeah. Nobody's gotten rid of cars yet. We
yeah.
thought about it.
Yeah,
Some of us have like
Yeah.
thought about it, but
I'm sure.
yeah.
Good friends won't let you sell your.
Yeah, there's probably been a lot of like talking out of it too.
Yeah,
But yeah, Goldstar is still cooking. Yeah.
Good.
We're being
there's still a
adults.
group chat.
Oh yeah, fully. Yeah. Like people are like house owning and modding
Yeah,
and human building.
yeah,
Yeah. They got new types of builds coming up.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Organic builds.
Organic builds. Yeah. Family builds.
Mm.
Yeah.
Next gen.
Next gen for sure.
Slamburglar
Yeah.
Forum 2.0.
That'd be sick, dude. Yeah. They'd probably think that shit's so lame. You guys did what with your cars?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah.
I doubt it.
Hopefully, I think the cool thing to do would just be host another Goldstar event because we haven't done that since like 2017, I think.
That would be sick.
Yeah, just host another Goldstar event when all the cars are lined up and
Yeah.
get them all out there. Just showing up is like a feat in its own at this point.
Yeah.
With that many people like trying to adult. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that stuff it gets harder, but
Well, I can't wait.
yeah. Yeah, it'll happen.
Yeah.
That one you could hold me to.
Yeah. Goldstar event
Yeah.
coming soon.
Somewhere. I don't know about soon, but somewhere at some point.
Soon-ish.
Yeah, maybe in 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Goldstar event coming eventually.
Yeah. Just coming.
Not prematurely.
That'd be sick.
All right. We're fucking out.
Yeah.
Bye, everybody.